Chapter 348. When he first obtained the golden dragon armor, it only weighed 2,000 kilograms. At that time, Lu Yuan's strength was only slightly more than 5,000 kilograms. After a year of training in Shrek Academy, Lu Yuan's physique became stronger. His strength increased to 25,000 kilograms. At this time, the golden dragon armor weighed around 5,000 kilograms. After absorbing his fourth soul ring, Lu Yuan jumped to rank 46. His physique became stronger again, and the golden dragon armor increased to more than 6,000 kilograms. This was also the weight of the golden dragon armor before Lu Yuan's ice fire, yin-yang polarity. After absorbing the star anise mysterious ice grass and the blazing delicate apricot, his ice fire golden body was strengthened again. Lu Yuan's body also underwent another transformation. After absorbing the energy of these two herbs, the golden dragon armor also evolved again. Its weight increased to 5,000 kilograms. 5,000 kilograms was a concept. If it were an ordinary soul ancestor, they would be crushed by its weight, let alone fight. Only a freak like Lu Yuan would be able to wear the golden dragon armor so casually. This was the benefit of an external soul bone. Among Lu Yuan's 3 external soul bones, the golden dragon armor was obviously the most helpful. Not only did it increase all his attributes, but it also made him immune to all negative effects. At the same time, its defensive strength was so strong that it made people tremble. For someone like Lu Yuan who liked to fight recklessly, it was very suitable. Lu Yuan had no lack of offensive skills. Even though the Dusgold Dreadclaw Bear's right palm bone was powerful, it couldn't surpass Polychoria and the Sea God's divine skills. Hence, the Dusgold Dreadclaw Bear's right palm bone wasn't as useful to Lu Yuan as the Golden Dragon battle armor. However, this didn't mean that the Dark Golden Terrorclaw Bear's right palm bone wasn't powerful. On the contrary, it was very powerful. Its offensive strength was definitely very strong. It was also very helpful to Lu Yuan, but it wasn't as helpful as the golden dragon armor. It wasn't that it wasn't powerful. It was just that Lu Yuan had many powerful methods. Lu Yuan smiled faintly as he sensed the spring water that no longer felt hot or cold. After eating the star anise mysterious ice grass and the blazing delicate apricot, he also possessed the ability to be immune to ice and fire. Speaking of which, Lu Yuan had quite a few immunity skills. His golden dragon war body was immune to all control skills. His golden dragon armor was immune to all negative statuses. And now, he was also immune to ice and fire. With these immunity skills, control-type soul masters, poison-type soul masters, ice-type and fire-type soul masters would die if they encountered him. They would be completely suppressed. The Ice Fire Yin-Yang well should be where the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King's corpses are. They don't seem to be completely dead. Their spirits are still intact, and there should be some soul bones left behind. I can go take a look with Guyuna in the future, but I'll just forget about it for now. Looking at the Ice Fire Yin-Yang well below him, Lu Yuan's polychoria flickered. It was as if he could see through the layers of obstructions and see the 2 huge dragon corpses. Retracting his gaze, Lu Yuan's hands moved slightly as he swam towards the edge of the spring water. With a light leap, he climbed ashore. Light flashed in his hand, and a clean towel appeared in his hand. Lu Yuan wiped his body dry. After wiping himself clean, he retrieved a set of clothes from his astral ring. After putting them on, he had the time to check out his surroundings. He looked around, and there was still only Zhu Zhuqing and him outside the Ice Fire Yin-Yang well. Right now, Zhu Zhuqing was sitting cross-legged. Her elbows were placed on her thighs, and her cheeks were slightly propped up. She was sound asleep. Her beautiful black hair was full of dew, but Zhu Zhuqing didn't notice it at all. Seeing Zhu Zhuqing like this, Lu Yuan felt a sense of tenderness in his heart. He didn't know how long she had been watching over him last night. She only fell asleep when she couldn't take it anymore. Walking to Zhu Zhuqing's side, Lu Yuan sat cross-legged and gently pulled Zhu Zhuqing into his arms. Lu Yuan's movements were very gentle, and Zhu Zhuqing was in a deep sleep, so she didn't wake up. Looking at Zhu Zhuqing in his arms and looking at her cold face, Lu Yuan only felt his heart calm. He felt that his luck was really too good. Every girl he met was very, very good. Zhu Zhuqing was like this, and so was Lina and the others. The red sun slowly rose into the sky and began to emit light and heat. The dazzling light shone on Zhu Zhuqing's face. Immediately, the sleeping little kitten seemed to be disturbed and slowly opened her eyes. "You're awake." Zhu Zhuqing had just opened her beautiful eyes when Lu Yuan's handsome face with a gentle smile entered her eyes. Feeling Lu Yuan's warm embrace, Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but change her position to make herself more comfortable. "Have you finished absorbing?" Zhu Zhuqing's beautiful eyes slightly blinked, and her tone carried a trace of concern. "And I've made quite a bit of progress. My fighting strength has also increased by a lot. If I were to fight with Zhao Wuji now, even if I don't use my trump card, I'm confident that I can take him down." Lu Yuan said with a trace of a smile in his tone. "That's good." Hearing the confidence in Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing was sincerely happy for him. What she liked the most was Lu Yuan's confident appearance. He was confident, elegant, and in high spirits, as if nothing could stump him. Zhu Zhuqing's beautiful eyes carefully looked at Lu Yuan, and her eyes flickered with extraordinary splendor. Seeing Zhu Zhuqing's appearance, Lu Yuan slightly smiled and hugged her even tighter. "Lu Yuan, what are you doing?" Seeing Lu Yuan fiddling with the sunspring, Zhu Zhuqing asked curiously. "I'm refining an antidote for Douluo," Lu Yuan said as he paid attention to the temperature of the fire. "Oh," Zhu Zhuqing nodded. "Once I'm done, you should eat one too," Lu Yuan said. "I'll eat one too. I'm not poisoned, so why would I eat one?" Zhu Zhuqing was a little puzzled. This pill is used to strengthen one's foundation, so it doesn't have any antidote effect. The real effect is in my blood. My blood contains both extreme cold and extreme heat toxins, so it's the real antidote. After I've refined it, not only will the extreme cold and heat toxins not cause harm to the human body, but it can also strengthen one's physique. If you eat one, not only will it strengthen your physique, but it will also make you immune to the climate here. You won't have to fear the extreme cold and extreme heat of the ice fire yin-yang well anymore. You can't just carry the vast sea cosmic shroud all day. After all, even though the vast sea cosmic shroud was very convenient to use, it was still uncomfortable to carry it around all day. Zhu Zhuqing couldn't stay in the vast sea cosmic shroud all day, right? She also needed to move around freely, and Lu Yuan didn't want her to be restricted. After refining these pills, I'll refine some body tempering and soul power tempering pills for you to help you stabilize the soul power in your body as soon as possible. After all, even immortal herbs won't affect the foundation of one's soul power, but it won't be as smooth as cultivating on your own. With these pills, you'll be able to better control the soul power in your body, Lu Yuan said with a smile. Chapter 349. Lu Yuan, have you prepared the pill? Is it really as effective as you said? Douluo's voice could be heard from outside the ice fire yin-yang well. Of course it's ready. Lu Yuan smiled as he watched Douluo walk closer. As for the pill's effectiveness, you'll know once you try it, Senior Douluo. Then I want to see how effective your pill is. Can it dispel my poison? Douluo raised his eyebrows. Zhuqing, give the pill to Senior Douluo, Lu Yuan said to Zhu Zhuqing. Okay. Zhu Zhuqing nodded. She took 2 steps forward and handed the pill and the jade bottle to Douluo. Yeah, this little girl's soul power is so profound. More importantly, she's so young. Douluo took the pill and glanced at Zhu Zhuqing with his green eyes. He didn't notice it the last time he came, but he realized that Zhu Zhuqing's soul power was close to rank 40 this time. More importantly, she wasn't even 13 years old. Titled Douluo could even see a soul beast transformation clearly, let alone their bone age. As long as they were in close contact, they could tell a person's true age. It was obvious that Zhu Zhuqing's soul power and age had shocked Douluo rank 40 before the age of 13. Even geniuses weren't enough to describe her talent. It's all right. She's still a little stronger than Senior Douluo's granddaughter. Lu Yuan chuckled when he heard that. He didn't give Douluo any face. Zhu Zhuqing returned to Lu Yuan's side after handing over the pill. She stood quietly and was exceptionally well-behaved. Douluo rolled his eyes when he heard Lu Yuan's words. However, he didn't refute him. His granddaughter was indeed a little lacking compared to Zhu Zhuqing. However, Douluo thought of something when his granddaughter was mentioned. Lu Yuan, there's something this old man wants to thank you for. Douluo said, Oh, what is it? Lu Yuan was interested. I didn't approve of Yin Yin getting together with Yu Qianheng from the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, but I couldn't do anything about it. Who would have thought that you would cripple Yu Qianheng after wreaking havoc in the Heaven Do Imperial Academy? That brat's mental state collapsed, and he's like a walking corpse now. Yin Yin tried to talk to him several times, but he was still hopeless. He even disappeared from the Imperial Academy a few days ago. Yin Yin was very disappointed and broke up with that brat. I'm very happy. Don't you think I should thank you? Douluo laughed out loud. Oh, there's such a thing? Hearing Douluo's words, Lu Yuan stared blankly. He didn't think that he would really beat Yu Qianheng up that time. This kid still hasn't walked out from his shadow? That made sense. With the pride of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, how could it endure such humiliation? Furthermore, Yu Qianheng was an extremely prideful person, and he was quite talented as well. If it weren't for Tang Wulin, normal soul masters wouldn't be a match for him. If a prodigy like him couldn't recover from such a setback, there was a very high chance that he would die. Haha, of course. That's why I really have to thank you. The Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect is becoming more and more corrupt, and they're inexplicably arrogant. I've been annoyed with them for a long time. If Yin Yin were to join their sect, she would have been bullied. Now that Yin Yin and Yu Qianheng have severed all ties, I can finally live a peaceful life without having to worry about Yin Yin being bullied. Then I must congratulate you, Senior Douluo. Lu Yuan smiled. It was good that Douluo Yin and Yu Qianheng weren't related. He had to destroy the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect sooner or later. If Douluo Yin and Yu Qianheng still had that kind of relationship, then it would be quite a hindrance to Lu Yuan's plans. Even though it wouldn't affect Lu Yuan's plans, Lu Yuan couldn't ignore Douluo's emotions. After all, Douluo would have already been his subordinate by then, so it wouldn't be good for their relationship to be affected. Indeed, I must congratulate you. Douluo smiled as he appraised Lu Yuan. His green eyes blinked as he asked in a slightly meaningful manner, Lu Yuan, you're not even 13 years old yet, right? Yes. Lu Yuan nodded in response. It wasn't strange for Douluo to be able to see through his skeletal age. I can see that your soul force has already reached rank 47. Furthermore, your soul force is far more condensed than the average soul master. That Yu Qianheng is nothing compared to you. Why don't we have a discussion? Douluo smiled. What discussion? Why don't I introduce my granddaughter to you? As long as you become my grandson-in-law, I'll leave my old life in your hands, let alone join your faction. What do you think? I've asked Yin Yin about this before, and she said that she doesn't hate you. Douluo chuckled. This. Lu Yuan had just opened his mouth, but before he could finish his sentence, he felt a pair of piercing eyes staring straight at him. There was a deep chill in those eyes. Lu Yuan couldn't help but shudder. He didn't even need to look to know who was looking at him. Lu Yuan pretended as if nothing had happened and held Zhu Zhuqing's jade-like hand. He smiled and said, Senior Douluo, as you can see, I already have a girlfriend. Moreover, this little kitten of mine is very jealous, so I don't have the fortune to enjoy your granddaughter. You should find someone else. Oomph. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing snorted lightly. The coldness in her eyes disappeared without a trace. She took 2 steps to the right and leaned on Lu Yuan. Seeing this, Lu Yuan smiled bitterly. Zhu Zhuqing was declaring her sovereignty. It was difficult for this shy kitten to do such a thing in front of so many people. If even Zhuqing is like this, wouldn't the sky be pierced if Na, and share meat in the future? Lu Yuan wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. He felt that there was still a long way to go. Chihiro Snow, Hulina, and Zhu Zhuqing could be considered to have accepted each other's existence. Although Chihiro Snow had some opinions about Hulina, he had at least verbally agreed, so Lu Yuan didn't have to worry about it. However, if Guyina interfered, there would definitely be a storm. At that time, Lu Yuan would have to go around putting out fires. Moreover, Naer's identity is a bit sensitive. Strictly speaking, she didn't violate her promise to Cher and the others. After all, Naer isn't human. However, it would be difficult for them to accept Naer. The most difficult one to deal with is still Cher. Cher is really difficult to deal with. Lu Yuan sighed helplessly, causing Zhu Zhuqing to look at him doubtfully. Senior Douluo, you don't need to mention this matter anymore. You should take a look at the effects of the pill first. Lu Yuan said. Chapter 350. Ah, that's a pity. It's rare to meet someone with your talent, looks, and temperament that suits my taste. Douluo sighed and said, Are you really not going to reconsider? I don't mind if Yin Yin and this little girl serve you together. After all, you have a right to do so with your talent and background. There's really no need for that. Lu Yuan could feel that Zhu Zhuqing, who was beside him, was already trembling slightly. Her gaze was so murderous that it could kill. He quickly refused and changed the topic. If he allowed Douluo to continue, Zhu Zhuqing would probably go berserk. Douluo was fine. If he left, Hui Yuhao would be the unlucky one. This little wildcat was very wild. If she threw a tantrum, it wouldn't be easy to deal with her. Ah, all right then. Douluo sighed and shook his head. He pointed at the pill in his hand and said, How do I eat this? Just eat one pill a day. Gradually, the poison will be forced out of your body. Lu Yuan said, Oh, let me try. Douluo opened the jade bottle and poured out a pill. He didn't hesitate and put it into his mouth. This wasn't because he trusted Lu Yuan. It was because he knew that Lu Yuan could kill him easily. Long Xiaoyao could kill him easily. Therefore, Lu Yuan didn't need to do anything to the pill. After the pill entered his stomach, Douluo gradually circulated his soul power. Green light circulated on his body. After a few minutes, Douluo opened his eyes. How is it? Lu Yuan asked with a smile. It's effective. I can feel that some of the poison in my body has been expelled. Douluo nodded and said, That's right. As long as you eat it for a month, the poison in your body will be mostly expelled. Lu Yuan's eyes turned as he spoke. However, I don't recommend that you expel all the poison. Although this poison threatens your life, it's also a powerful weapon. If you can control the poison in your body freely, your abilities will definitely increase significantly. Oh, could it be that you have a way? Douluo's eyes lit up as he said, I once came across a book called The Complete Pill Tao Solution. There was a chapter on the heavenly poison. Not only did it record all sorts of poisonous plants, creatures, and so on, it also contained some of the cultivation experiences of poison-type soul cultivators. One of the methods was called the poison pill method. It allowed one to cultivate a life-bound poison pill within one's body and store all of the toxins produced by one's body within the poison pill. Not only can this poison pill contain all the toxins in the body, thus preventing the toxins from harming the body, it can also completely control the toxins in the body and increase the speed of cultivation. It should have a miraculous effect on Senior Douluo's current situation. If you can cultivate a poison pill, your soul power will increase by at least 2 ranks. Furthermore, you can completely control your jade phosphorus snake venom. When that happens, Senior Douluo will no longer be the weakest titled Douluo, Lu Yuan said with a smile. There's actually such a miraculous technique in this world. Hearing this, Douluo was so excited that his entire body trembled. If he could obtain the method to cultivate this poison pill, not only would he be able to prevent the toxins from harming his body, but his soul power would also increase greatly. How could Douluo not be excited? Furthermore, if this method could be passed on to Yin Yin, not only would Yin Yin be able to escape from danger, but she would also become a top-notch genius with a boundless future. He didn't doubt that Lu Yuan was lying at all. This was because Lu Yuan's pill had already proven that he had the ability to remove the toxins in his body. Since that was the case, then the poison pill method that he spoke of was definitely true. How about it? Senior Douluo, what do you think? As long as you're willing to join my faction, I'll hand over this poison pill method with both hands. Lu Yuan had a confident smile on his face. With such a temptation, he wasn't worried that Douluo wouldn't submit. This poison pill method was definitely something that Douluo's jade, phosphorus snake lineage needed the most. This old man agrees to your request. From now on, I'll be at your disposal. However, this old man has a condition, Douluo said. What condition? Senior Douluo, feel free to state it. As long as it's reasonable, I'll agree to it. Lu Yuan said. This old man hopes that you can pass this poison pill method to Yin Yin. This old man only has one granddaughter. As long as you agree to this condition, this old man's life will be in your hands. Douluo's expression was serious. When he spoke of Douluo Yin, there was a trace of affection in his eyes. Sure, but Douluo Yin has to join my faction first. This poison pill method will definitely not be passed on to outsiders, Lu Yuan said indifferently. Naturally, this old man can make the decision for Yin Yin, Douluo hurriedly said. That's good. That's all for today. I'll write down the poison pill method later. You can come and get it at this time tomorrow. Oh, and send some ingredients over tonight. It's best if you send a few more fish. Lu Yuan waved his hand and said, All right, what's the name of our faction? Douluo asked. Let's call it the Dragon King Hall. Lu Yuan said indifferently. Originally, he was going to call it the Dragon Palace Hall. However, the Dragon Palace Hall was not domineering enough, and the Pontiff Palace Hall and the Hall of Worship both had 3 characters in their names. In order to be more symmetrical, Lu Yuan changed the name and called it the Dragon King Palace Hall. Dragon King Hall? That's a good name. Douluo praised. Then from today onwards, this old man will call you Hall Master. How about that? It's just a title. Suit yourself. Lu Yuan didn't care what he was called. As long as he was obedient, it was fine. He had many titles. Long Xiaoyao called him Master, the Wild Rhino and the others called him Young Master Yuan, and the Sky Azure Bull Python and Titan Giant Ape called him Lord. Now that Douluo called him Hall Master, it didn't matter. After all, it was just a title. Then this old man will take his leave, Hall Master. I'll personally send the ingredients over tonight. Douluo said. All right, go ahead. Lu Yuan replied faintly. After Douluo left, Lu Yuan looked at the wild rhino Douluo and waved his hand. Young Master Yuan, what do you need me to do? The wild rhino Douluo asked. Lu Yuan's hand flashed, and a letter appeared out of thin air. Elder Wild Rhino, please go to the Martial Soul Palace and pass this to Salis. Ask him to pass it to my senior sister at the Martial Soul Palace. Ask her to act according to the letter's contents. Yes, young Master Yuan, the wild rhino Douluo said as he received the letter. All right, go ahead. Lu Yuan said. Yes, then this old man will take his leave. The wild rhino Douluo nodded. After that, he turned around and quickly disappeared. After the wild rhino Douluo left, only Lu Yuan, Zhu Qing, and Long Xiaoyao were left in the ice fire in Yangwell. Elder Long. Lu Yuan raised his head and looked at Long Xiaoyao. Yes, master. Long Xiaoyao nodded his head and walked away. Chapter 351. Little kitty, if you have anything to say, you can say it now. Lu Yuan smiled as he looked at Zhu Qing beside him. He had sent Long Xiaoyao away because he realized that Zhu Qing had something to say. Although she looked calm, her eyes couldn't fool him. She had something to say to him. What did you write in the letter that you asked the frenzied Rhino Douluo to pass to Hulina through Sokka's to the Martial Soul Palace? Zhu Qing asked curiously. Nothing much. I just asked her to come here secretly and give her an immortal herb. Lu Yuan said. That's not a big deal. You could have just asked Sokka's to pass it back. You didn't have to write a letter. Zhu Qing was a little confused. After hearing this, Lu Yuan glanced at Zhu Qing, but didn't say anything. Oh, I know. You don't want Chihiro Snow to know that Hulina has come to Heaven Do Imperial City, right? Zhu Qing suddenly thought of something and said, the frenzied Rhino Douluo is one of the great consecrators. He will definitely pass on some of your words to Chihiro Snow. If you directly asked for Hulina Chihiro Snow will definitely know. However, you don't want them to meet yet, because you haven't removed the thorn in Chihiro Snow's heart. You're afraid that they will fight when they meet. However, if you send a letter back, the frenzied Rhino Doll won't dare to open it and peek. At most, he will report to Chihiro Snow that you gave Ulina a letter. However, Chihiro Snow won't know the contents of the letter. Naturally, he won't know that Ulina has come to Heaven Do City. Zhu Zhuqing looked as if she had guessed everything. She looked at Lu Yuan coldly and asked, "Am I right?" Looking at Zhu Zhuqing's confident look, Lu Yuan smiled and said, "Kitty, you've become much smarter after following me for so long." What Zhu Zhuqing said was indeed what Lu Yuan was thinking. The yearning heartbroken red was too precious. Lu Yuan couldn't just let Sokka send it back, so he could only ask Ulina to make the trip. Besides, he could also see Ulina again, killing two birds with one stone. However, Chihiro Snow was a little troublesome, so he could only hide it from her and let Ulina come secretly. If I don't become smarter, wouldn't I be fooled by you?" Zhu Zhuqing snorted and said, "Kitty, when did I lie to you? Don't wrongly accuse a good person," Lu Yuan complained on the spot. "Did you promise me and Ulina that there are only the three of us in this life, except for some irresistible factors?" Zhu Zhuqing stared straight at Lu Yuan with her big eyes. "Yes, I didn't lie to you. I really only have the three of you now," Lu Yuan said. "Then Douluo kept introducing Douluo to you and said that she doesn't hate you. Did you provoke her?" Zhu Zhuqing asked. "Provoke who? Douluo? Don't joke around. I taught her a lesson, but that was in the arena. She was still with Yu Qianheng at that time. How could I be interested in someone else's girlfriend?" "Kitty, you underestimate me," Lu Yuan said. "Then why did Douluo say that Douluo doesn't hate you?" Zhu Zhuqing asked. Lu Yuan rolled his eyes and said, "I'm not boasting, but with my looks and aura, any girl wouldn't hate me. At least I haven't found a girl who hates me. You can't say that I'm just seducing anyone just because I'm charming." "Narcissist," Zhu Zhuqing scolded. "Hey, Kitty, I've realized that you're getting more and more arrogant. Is it because I didn't kiss you the last time? Do you still want it now? All right, I'll satisfy you." Lu Yuan hugged Zhu Zhuqing tightly in his arms and lowered his head slightly. He was about to kiss Zhu Zhuqing's red lips. "Naughty fellow, no." Zhu Zhuqing immediately rejected him as she recalled how swollen her lips had been from his kiss the last time. However, Zhu Zhuqing's cherry lips were blocked by Lu Yuan before she could finish speaking. "Woo! Is this the poison pill method? It's indeed very mysterious," Long Xiaoyao said softly as he looked at Douluo, who was sitting cross-legged and condensing his poison pill. "Yes, this poison pill method is indeed a treasure to some poison-type soul masters. It's very helpful." Lu Yuan's polychoria flashed with a strange light. He could tell that Douluo's aura was slowly rising. The green light on his body was concentrated in his dantian. That was where the poison pill was condensed. Douluo had cultivated an inner pill before. He had even fed it to Tang San in the original novel. Tang San had extracted many benefits from it, and Douluo had advanced 3 ranks in less than half a year. However, Douluo's inner pill was a little special. His martial soul was the jade-scaled serpent emperor, but his inner pill didn't contain any poison at all. It was very strange. Wouldn't it be better to condense the poison directly into his inner pill? Not only would he be free from the threat of the poison, but he would also be able to increase his abilities. However, Lu Yuan felt that it was normal that Douluo didn't do that. After all, it wasn't easy to condense all the poison in one's body into one's inner pill. It was just like the poison pill method. If Douluo didn't have this method, it would be very difficult for him to condense his own poison pill. If Douluo succeeds in condensing his poison pill, he should be able to reach rank 93. Long Xiaoyao estimated Douluo's aura and said, "Yes. However, this is only the beginning. Once he's truly proficient in using the poison pill, it won't take more than a few years for his soul force to rise to rank 95. After all, the poison hidden in his body is simply too frightening. This will greatly increase his cultivation speed after he successfully condenses the poison pill. However, his cultivation will stagnate once he reaches rank 95. When that happens, his cultivation speed will slow down again. This is because the poison strength will be used up sooner or later. Lu Yuan tapped his chin and said, "That's normal. That's normal. This is great news for him. If it weren't for my lord, he wouldn't have been able to live for long. He wouldn't have had the chance to become a rank 95 transcendent Douluo. My lord has given him a new lease on life. I hope he can repay this kindness and serve my lord wholeheartedly. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless." Long Xiaoyao's eyes flashed with a sharp look as he spoke. "I'm not worried about that. Douluo is someone who values friendship. Since he's benefited from me, I'm not afraid that he won't do his best." Lu Yuan smiled and said, "If he still has any other thoughts, I'll let him know that it's not so easy to take my things." Lu Yuan still trusted Douluo. After all, he was someone who kept his promises in the original novel. Because he had promised Tang San something, he didn't complain even if Tang San emptied the entire ice-fire yin-yang well. Instead, he still became a guest elder of Shrek Academy. Douluo's character could be seen from this. Although his temper was weird, he was definitely reliable. Chapter 352. Lu Yuan and the others were standing together in the ice-fire yin-yang well. They were sizing up Douluo, who was condensing his poison pill. The green light in Douluo's dantian was even more dazzling, and his aura had risen significantly. Lu Yuan's polychoria flickered, and he could see a green poison pill spinning in Douluo's dantian. "It's about time," Lu Yuan said softly as he retracted his polychoria. "It's about time." Long Xiaoyao could feel that Douluo's aura had condensed to a certain level, and he was just waiting for an opportunity to explode. "Zhu Qing, back off." Lu Yuan held Zhu Zhuqing's hand and retreated a few steps. Suddenly, Douluo's jade-green eyes opened, and they flickered. Green light spread from his body in all directions, and a powerful aura was unleashed. "Ha ha ha!" Douluo couldn't hold it in any longer as he sensed the increase in his soul power. He couldn't help but laugh to the sky as he expressed his joy. "My soul power should be at rank 93 now." Douluo's eyes flashed, and he subconsciously clenched his fists. "Elder Douluo, why aren't you retracting your aura? Look at the medicinal herbs around you. They've withered a lot." Lu Yuan's voice rang out just as Douluo was secretly rejoicing. "Hall Master." Douluo immediately retracted his aura when he heard Lu Yuan's voice. "Elder Douluo, congratulations on your increase in cultivation to rank 93. Your cultivation is no longer below Elder Crazy Rhinos." Lu Yuan said with a faint smile. "Thank you for your kindness, Hall Master. I'll be at your disposal from now on," Douluo said. "Yes, I believe that with Elder Douluo's addition, the Dragon King Hall will become even more powerful," Lu Yuan said clearly. "Elder Douluo, please prepare a few good cauldrons. I want to refine a few pills that can improve soul power and strength." Lu Yuan said to Douluo, "Yes, Hall Master." "Hall Master, what should we do about Yin-Yan?" Douluo asked. "Douluo's current strength is still low. She doesn't have the ability to condense a poison pill right now. At the very least, she'll have to wait until she's a Soul King before her spiritual power can barely meet the minimum requirement to condense a poison pill. I'll refine a few bottles of pills for her to temporarily suppress the poison in her body. At the same time, I will also give her some of the pills that can increase her strength. If you have time, just bring her here," Lu Yuan said. "Thank you, Hall Master." Douluo's face was filled with joy. Then, "Hall Master, this old man will go prepare the cultivation furnace now." Hearing that his granddaughter would also be able to refine this pill, Douluo was immediately filled with enthusiasm. He excitedly ran off to prepare the furnace. "Master, we've subdued Douluo. What are we going to do next?" Long Xiaoyao asked softly after Douluo left. "After I gather some herbs here to refine some pills for Zhu Qing, we'll return to Heaven Do Imperial City." I want to open an academy to play with. The Blue Tyrant Academy is a good choice. Let's buy it, Lu Yuan said. Young Master Yuan, if I remember correctly, the Blue Tyrant Academy was opened by Lu Erlong of the Golden Iron Triangle. Lu Erlong is the illegitimate daughter of Yu Lumian of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect. Although Lu Erlong doesn't have a harmonious relationship with the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, the Blue Tyrant Academy should be supported by the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to establish itself in Heavendo Imperial City so easily. If you buy it, won't it provoke the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect? Furthermore, what if Lu Erlong isn't willing to sell it? The frenzy Rhino Douluo asked. Provoke them? Lu Yuan raised his eyebrows and said, I want to provoke them step by step. If they dare to jump out and cause trouble, I'll just slap them to death. I'm just afraid that they don't have the guts to do so. As for Lu Erlong, she has a bad temper and is easily impulsive. She's easy to deal with. It won't be difficult to buy it. I have my ways, Lu Yuan said plainly. Moreover, it would be too troublesome if I really wanted to open my own academy. The rules of the Blue Tyrant Academy state that they only accept commoner students and not noble students. Although they might not be able to follow through to the end, no matter what, they have given commoner students a chance. Just based on this point alone, I admire them very much. It's also in line with my goal. That's why I'm prepared to buy it and refine it. I'll turn it into my own academy. Furthermore, this academy has the right to participate in the Continental Advanced Soul Master Tournament. We can use this tournament's championship to spread the name of our academy. Prince Yuan, aren't you going to represent the Martial Soul Palace in the tournament? The frenzy Rhino Douluo asked in astonishment. Lu Yuan looked at the frenzy Rhino Douluo and was a little speechless. I'm now the Hall Master of the Dragon King Hall. I'll be the master of a new superpower. I settled in the Heavendo Empire to help Share take over the Heavendo Empire. If my identity is exposed, how can I help Share? Not to mention representing the Martial Soul Palace in the tournament. That's impossible. Lu Yuan looked at the frenzy Rhino Douluo helplessly. These title Douluo were strong, but not many of them were smart. The frenzy Rhino Douluo was a representative of them. He couldn't even see through something as simple as this. However, it wasn't surprising. His martial soul was the frenzy Rhino. It was normal for a rhino to be a little stupid. That's true. I've thought too much. The frenzy Rhino Douluo laughed. He looked a little embarrassed. He knew that he wasn't very smart. That was why he had always done whatever Lu Yuan and Chihiro Snow told him to do. He had never asked too much. He didn't expect that he would reveal his low intelligence just by asking a question. Most importantly, the three of them were looking at him weirdly, which made him feel a little awkward. Forget it. I'll leave these brainy things to Prince Yuan and Young Mistress. I'll just listen to their orders. I won't dare to say anything else. Our team won't lose with you around. After all, with your abilities, it won't be difficult for you to take on 7 people at once. However, the Martial Soul Palace team will definitely lose if we do that. The Martial Soul Palace has always been the champion. If we lose the championship, it might not look good for the Martial Soul Palace. Zhu Zhuqing's cold voice sounded. A little face doesn't mean anything. Right now, our Martial Soul Palace is too powerful. We're even suppressing the 2 empires. Both the Heavendo Empire and the Star Luo Empire are very resistant to our Martial Soul Palace. If the Martial Soul Palace continues to be strong, it might cause some reaction from the 2 empires and the various sections. If they take precautions against our Martial Soul Palace in advance, it won't be worth it. Chapter 353. If the Martial Soul Palace team loses in the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament, they will only lose some face. It will also make the other sects and powers think that the Martial Soul Palace is not invincible. They will also lose, and they will let down their guard. At the same time, if our team wins, as the team that defeated the Martial Soul Palace, we will definitely attract the attention of everyone. Even the Dragon King Hall will attract attention. This will be very helpful for us to absorb power and grow quickly. There will definitely be more commoners joining the academy, and it will also be easier for us to rope in other powers to join the Dragon King Hall. After all, reputation is sometimes a powerful weapon. There's one more thing. The rise of the Dragon King Hall will attract the attention of the other powers, but will also cause the Martial Soul Palace's presence to fade. This will be more beneficial for the Martial Soul Palace to secretly accumulate power. When the time is right, they can launch an all-out attack. Furthermore, with the Dragon King Hall's cooperation, it will be much easier for them to unify the continent. It's killing many birds with one stone. That's why it's better for the Martial Soul Palace to lose than win. Even if we lose, the reward will still land in our hands. Isn't it the same as landing in the hands of the Martial Soul Palace? The meat will still be rotting in the pot. Faced with Zhu Zhuqing's doubts, Lu Yuan spoke frankly with assurance. Yes. After hearing Lu Yuan's analysis, everyone nodded in agreement. According to Lu Yuan, it was indeed better for the Martial Soul Palace to lose than win. Let's stop here for now. After we settle the matters in the academy, I'll find some time to craft a few soul tools. I'll ask Cher to invite Ning Fengji. That old fox, it's time to catch him. We can't let go of the 7 treasures glazed sect. Also, Elder Wild Rhino, please inform Cher to help me purchase some rare metals. I want to craft soul tools with them. Also, tell her that I'll look for her after we settle the matters here. Tell her to make the necessary preparations. Lu Yuan said plainly. Yes, young Master Yuan. The frenzied Rhino Douluo replied. Well, you don't have to come back here after you go there. It won't be long before I go to Cher's place. You can wait for me at her place. You don't have to rush back. It's quite troublesome to rush back and forth, Lu Yuan said. I understand. In that case, young Master Yuan, I'll go now. The Hell Rhino Douluo nodded as he spoke. Go! Lu Yuan waved his hand. The frenzied Rhino Douluo's figure gradually disappeared, and Lu Yuan held Zhu Zhuqing's hand as they strolled around the ice fire Yin-Yang well. They were picking out the herbs they needed to refine pills. Lu Yuan, did you purposely send the frenzied Rhino Douluo away? Zhu Zhuqing asked as she watched Lu Yuan keep the herbs. Yeah, with him around, I can't even be intimate with you, Lu Yuan said with a smile. You're spouting nonsense again. Zhu Zhuqing gently punched Lu Yuan and said, I think you must have an ulterior motive. You're such a bad guy. You're full of bad intentions. Yeah, I'm full of bad intentions. So after I'm done packing, I'll play tricks on you. Let's see if you still dare to be as arrogant as you are now. Lu Yuan purposely pretended to be fierce as he spoke. Tui, stinky hooligan. You only know how to bully me. Zhu Zhuqing's cheeks turned slightly red as she glared at Lu Yuan. You're my little kitten. If I don't bully you, who else can I bully? Do you want me to bully other women? Lu Yuan kept a stalk of a mortal herb into his star ring. He tapped his chin gently and wore a mischievous smile on his face. If you really have such a request, I think I can satisfy you. Is that so? Then you can give it a try. Zhu Zhuqing's expression didn't change, but her eyes were filled with coldness. She kept sizing up Lu Yuan's lower body. Lu Yuan couldn't help but feel goosebumps as he sensed Zhu Zhuqing's cold gaze. His body shrank slightly. When his kitten became wild, she was really a little fierce. He couldn't afford to offend her. Hee, I'm just teasing you. Do I look like that kind of person? Lu Yuan chuckled and hurriedly said, You do. If Ulina and I didn't ask you for a promise, given your fickleness, it wouldn't just be the 3 of us. When we were in Shrek Academy, Ning Rongrong dared to seduce you in front of me. I've always seen it. If I wasn't around, it's really hard to say whether you would have been seduced by Ning Rongrong. After all, she's a prodigy of the 7 Treasures glazed sect. She's compatible with you in terms of social status. She's also so beautiful. Most importantly, she likes you so much. Furthermore, don't you want to control the 7 Treasures glazed sect? Just marry Ning Rongrong and everything will be fine. Isn't it much simpler than what you're thinking now? Zhu Zhuqing's tone carried a trace of inexplicable emotion. Ha! He flicked Zhu Zhuqing's forehead. Looking at Zhu Zhuqing's stubborn eyes, Lu Yuan's expression was a little helpless. You little kitten, you're testing me again. Since I promised you and my senior sisters, I'll definitely do it. I won't go back on my promise. Don't always think so much. Let your imagination run wild and be jealous. Your jealousy is almost as strong as shares. As he spoke, Lu Yuan gently rubbed Zhu Zhuqing's head and said gently, who asked you to be so popular with girls? How can I not be jealous? Zhu Zhuqing muttered. Sigh, I can't help it. Who asked me to be so charming? It's always easy to attract the attention of girls. To be honest, I'm also very troubled. Lu Yuan pretended to sigh and said without any embarrassment, Narcissist, you're really shameless. Zhu Zhuqing curled her lips. Although this was the truth, why did Lu Yuan always give her a feeling of narcissism when he said it? Lu Yuan smiled at Zhu Zhuqing's ridicule and didn't care at all. Pinching Zhu Zhuqing's face, Lu Yuan continued to pick the herbs. Orchid spirit grass, jade emperor flower, profound essence root, cinnabar lotus. It's almost done. After picking all the herbs neatly, Lu Yuan clapped his hands and said, How many pills can you refine with so many herbs? Zhu Zhuqing asked with some doubts. It's hard to say how many I can refine. It depends on my success rate. After all, this is alchemy. It's not like the so-called tonic mixed with my blood for Douluo. It only needs a simple mix. The real alchemy is actually very tedious and delicate work. Moreover, even a mature alchemist will have times of failure. Moreover, I don't have any alchemy experience. If I want to refine, I will definitely need to experiment a few times. The failure rate is definitely not low. Perhaps I will fail many times before I can get on the right track. This will also waste a lot of herbs. However, with so many herbs, even if the failure rate is high, it should be more than enough for you and Douluo to use. Lu Yuan said lightly. Chapter 354. Lu Yuan was refining pills next to the hot sunspring. Refining pills was a job that required a lot of skill, especially the control of fire. If there was even the slightest mistake, then the result would be a furnace of waste. This was already Lu Yuan's third furnace of pills. The previous two furnaces had all turned into waste, wasting a lot of medicinal herbs for no reason. Although he had directly obtained the contents of the complete alchemy explanation, in theory he had gotten full marks and knew what to do at every step. However, he was still a bit flustered when it came to actual practice. It was really easy to talk, but in reality, it was very difficult to actually do it. Fortunately, Lu Yuan was mentally prepared in advance. When he first started refining pills, he only refined the simplest of pills. For example, the soul-returning pill had a very simple function, which was to restore soul power. As for the effect, it was okay. For some soul masters and soul grandmasters, it was still quite useful. Lu Yuan used it to practice. After refining a few furnaces and becoming more familiar with alchemy, it wouldn't be too late to refine the body-tempering pill, chi-tempering pill, and spirit ascension pill. The body-tempering pill was naturally a pill used to temper one's physique. Only the chi-tempering pill was used to temper one's soul force and make it purer. The spirit ascending pill was used to increase one's soul force. Among them, the body-tempering pill and chi-tempering pill were naturally of a higher grade than the soul-returning pill. They were suitable for soul elders and soul ancestors, but they were still classified as low-grade pills. The spirit ascension pill's grade was slightly higher, and Lu Yuan was preparing to refine at last. Alchemy also relied on talent. Those with talent would be able to get started very quickly, but those without talent might not be able to achieve much even if they studied it for a lifetime. Lu Yuan's talent was naturally considered to be above average. He had only wasted 2 furnaces of pills, but the third furnace was already slowly on the right track. In addition to Lu Yuan's own perception, it was also related to his extremely high mental strength. With a high mental strength, it would be easier for him to refine pills. He would be able to keenly feel the changes inside the pill. It's about time. I can reduce the fire. After a bit of warming, I can take it out of the furnace. Feeling that the pill was slowly taking shape inside the furnace, Lu Yuan hurriedly removed most of the fire from the furnace, leaving only a few remnants to slowly nurture the pill. A few minutes later, it's done. Lu Yuan gently patted the cauldron with his right hand. Immediately, a few streaks of light flew out from the cauldron. With a casual grab, all of them were sucked into his hand. Looking at the 5 smooth and round pills in his hand, Lu Yuan revealed a smile on his face. Medium quality, not bad. I thought they were low quality. Elixirs were also divided into different grades. Basically, there were 4 grades: low grade, mid grade, high grade, and top grade. Lu Yuan could actually refine a mid-grade elixir. After all, this was the first batch of elixirs that he had successfully refined. Is this a medicinal pill? Seeing that Lu Yuan had finished refining, Zhu Zhuqing, who had been waiting for a long time, immediately walked up to Lu Yuan's side. Her beautiful eyes looked at the pill in Lu Yuan's hand, and her eyes were filled with surprise. This is a soul-returning pill. It can restore soul power. Do you want to try one? Smiling at Zhu Zhuqing, Lu Yuan picked up a soul-returning pill and asked, "No, don't even think of using me as a lab rat." Zhu Zhuqing refused decisively. Although the pill was pleasing to the eye, with its dark green color and faint fragrance, this was Lu Yuan's first batch. She didn't dare try it. After all, she had seen Lu Yuan's first 2 batches of elixirs. Yeah, what a pity. It's such a good thing, but you don't know what it is. Lu Yuan sighed. Suddenly, Lu Yuan's face lit up with surprise. "Senior Rhinoceros, what are you doing here? Weren't you a share?" "What?" Zhu Zhuqing's attention was drawn. She turned her head, her beautiful eyes sweeping the area, but there was no one there. "Lu Yuan, are you seeing things?" "There's no one." Before Zhu Zhuqing could finish, a pill was shoved into her mouth. She felt someone lift her chin, and with a gurgling sound, the pill went in. Zhu Zhuqing stared blankly at the culprit in front of her. The air seemed to grow still. 1 second, 2 seconds. Then there was an ear-piercing shriek. "Lu Yuan, I'm going to kill you." Zhu Zhuqing leapt up and tackled Lu Yuan to the ground. She opened her mouth wide and bit down on Lu Yuan's shoulder. Ugh! Lu Yuan reached out and covered Zhu Zhuqing's mouth with one hand. He flipped over and pulled Zhu Zhuqing's delicate body into his embrace with the other hand. "Zhuqing, calm down, calm down. Don't be impulsive. Impulsiveness is the devil." Lu Yuan's hand was still clamped over Zhu Zhuqing's mouth. He gently patted her back as he tried to soothe her. Being hugged by Lu Yuan, Zhu Zhuqing could not move even if she wanted to. She could only stop struggling, but her big eyes were fixed on Lu Yuan with a murderous look in her eyes. "Ugh," Zhu Zhuqing whimpered. "You want me to let you go?" "Sure, I can let you go, but you can't bite me, okay?" Lu Yuan said. "Ugh," Zhu Zhuqing nodded. "Then I'll let you go." Seeing that Zhu Zhuqing didn't seem to have any strange movements, Lu Yuan slowly removed his hand from Zhu Zhuqing's mouth. Hiss! Just as his hand was removed, Zhu Zhuqing seized the opportunity and bit the back of Lu Yuan's hand. It was so painful that Lu Yuan sucked in a breath of cold air. Humph! Seeing Lu Yuan grimacing in pain, Zhu Zhuqing snorted proudly. "You deserve it. Who told you to deliberately play with me and feed me this kind of thing when I wasn't paying attention? All right, I reap what I sow, okay? You little kitty, since when did you like to bite people so much?" Lu Yuan shook his head as he looked at the obvious teeth marks on the back of his hand. It hurt a little, but it was impossible. He still had the soul bone in his hand. Furthermore, with Lu Yuan's current physical strength, even if Zhu Zhuqing broke her teeth, she wouldn't be able to bite through his skin. Lu Yuan purposely made such a big expression just to let Zhu Zhuqing vent her anger. Otherwise, this little kitty wouldn't let him off easily. "Zhuqing, how do you feel after eating this pill? The effect should be quite obvious. There's no problem with this soul-returning pill. I know how to refine it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have fed it to you. I can't bear to see anything happen to you," Lu Yuan said with a smile. You're still talking about it. You bad guy, you actually used me as a lab rat." Zhu Zhuqing glared at Lu Yuan. Then, she carefully felt the changes in her body and said, "The effect is quite obvious. I can feel a warm current flowing in my body. It should be recovering my soul power. It's just that my soul power is full now, so there's not much change in my soul power. However, this pill is effective. Chapter 355. Is that so? That's good. This soul-returning pill can be considered to have been successfully refined. Next, I'll refine another batch of soul-returning pills. Once I'm familiar with it, I can attempt to refine the body-tempering pill. Lu Yuan chuckled and said, "Since that's the case, you should hurry up and practice. Don't hug me so tightly. I can't even move." Zhu Zhuqing rolled her eyes and said, "But I like to hug you. Don't you like to be hugged by me?" Lu Yuan smiled and loosened his grip on Zhu Zhuqing's hand. "I like it. It's just that it's daytime now. You can refine pills at night. We have plenty of time at night." Zhu Zhuqing's pretty face blushed as she whispered, "Haha, that's what you said." Lu Yuan rubbed Zhu Zhuqing's head and let go of Zhu Zhuqing. With a wave of his hand, a pile of herbs appeared beside him. "Then I'll start refining pills. Kitty, don't try to tempt me. Otherwise, I'll be distracted." "Hey, who's trying to tempt you?" Zhu Zhuqing secretly spat, but she didn't leave. She just quietly stood to the side and watched Lu Yuan refine pills. When Lu Yuan did something, he would always put his heart and soul into it. This was the biggest reason why he could do everything well. When he started refining pills, he really didn't have time to care about Zhu Zhuqing. For Zhu Zhuqing, what she liked the most was Lu Yuan's serious appearance. Her jade-like hand supported her cheeks as she quietly watched Lu Yuan. Her eyes flashed with infatuation. Just like in the past, Hulina watched Lu Yuan cultivate every night. Every night, she would watch Lu Yuan's side face as she fell asleep. These two girls, in a certain aspect, did have some similarities. Body-tempering pill, success. The sky gradually darkened. Lu Yuan finally succeeded in refining the first batch of body-tempering pills. Of course, during this time, he failed twice. A lot of medicinal herbs were wasted. 8 body-tempering pills, 6 of medium quality, and 2 of high quality. Looking at the 8 pills in his hand, Lu Yuan nodded slightly. Although they were both body-tempering pills, the higher quality ones were much stronger than the lower quality ones. Leave the high-level ones for Zhuqing. As for the mid-level ones, keep them and give them to your subordinates in the future. Of course, you can also use them to win people's hearts. I can prepare more of these body-tempering pills. Senior sister also needs them. I can't give all the good stuff to Zhuqing, so I have to leave some for senior sister. As for Cher, I should also prepare some. Even if her rank is high and she doesn't need them, I still have to give her some. Otherwise, she'll definitely overthink things. This girl is too jealous. Lu Yuan inwardly thought. The 8 body-tempering pills were divided into 2 bottles. He would leave the high-quality ones for his closest people and give the mid-quality ones to win people's hearts. It was simply perfect. Lu Yuan, it's time to eat. It's already dark. You've been refining for the entire afternoon. Why don't you refine again tomorrow? Just as Lu Yuan was pondering, Zhu Zhuqing's voice sounded. Lu Yuan turned around and saw Zhu Zhuqing holding a big bowl full of food in her hands. Zhuqing, where did the food come from? Lu Yuan looked at Zhu Zhuqing with some doubt. He had been refining pills all day and hadn't cooked. Where did the food come from? Could it be that Zhuqing cooked it herself? However, looking at the alluring color of the bowl and the fragrance that assailed his nostrils, Lu Yuan immediately dismissed this idea. Zhu Zhuqing's cooking was definitely not like this. Charcoal was her source of life. This was made by Elder Long, Zhu Zhuqing said. Elder Long has such culinary skills? Lu Yuan was a little surprised. This Long Xiaoyao was usually quiet, but his culinary skills were not bad. Although he hadn't eaten yet, Lu Yuan had already experienced the color and aroma of the food. If the color and aroma were like this, then the taste wouldn't be too bad. Yes, I'm also a little surprised, Zhu Zhuqing said with a smile. The taste is pretty good. You'll know once you try it. Zhu Zhuqing picked up a piece of meat and brought it to Lu Yuan's mouth. Zhuqing, I'll do it myself, Lu Yuan said as he prepared to take the bowl from Zhu Zhuqing's hands. Let me feed you. You've taken care of me for so long in the past. When I was injured in the remnant of life, you were the one who fed me every day. However, I've never done anything for you. Now, let me feed you for once, Zhu Zhuqing said with a trace of determination in her eyes. All right then. Seeing how determined Zhu Zhuqing was, Lu Yuan didn't reject her. Furthermore, he had a better appetite with a beauty feeding him. After all, Zhu Zhuqing was a feast for the eyes. Just her looks alone were enough to whet his appetite. It's not bad. Lu Yuan ate the piece of meat that Zhu Zhuqing brought to his mouth and laughed. Yes, it's indeed very delicious. I've tried 2 pieces. It's hard to imagine that an ultimate Douluo like Elder Long has such good culinary skills. Furthermore, Elder Long seems to be reminiscing when he's cooking. Zhu Zhuqing picked up another piece of meat and brought it to Lu Yuan's mouth. Reminiscing, Lu Yuan's eyes flashed. He seemed to have thought of something and said, Elder Long might be thinking of someone he likes. After all, there are only 2 people who can make him reminisce. Elder Long has someone he likes? Zhu Zhuqing was interested. Of course. Elder Long likes someone called the Death God Douluo, Yishi Shui. She's also an ultimate Douluo like Elder Long, Lu Yuan said. Death God Douluo, Yishi Shui? Zhu Zhuqing blinked. This was another name that she had never heard of. However, the identity of an ultimate Douluo piqued Zhu Zhuqing's curiosity. Zhu Zhuqing was especially interested in a female ultimate Douluo. Lu Yuan, can you tell me about Elder Long and Elder Ye's story? Zhu Zhuqing blinked her eyes. About that, Lu Yuan hesitated for a moment, then told Zhu Zhuqing what he knew, which was slightly modified from what he knew. Ah, Elder Yishi Shui is so pitiful. After hearing about Yishi Shui's plight, Zhu Zhuqing felt a little sympathetic. Although Yishi Shui's personality changed drastically and she became an evil soul master, she couldn't bring herself to hate her. I don't know if Elder Long had a chance to be together with Elder Yi. According to what you said, Elder Yi has twin martial souls. Her second martial soul is the Radiant Phoenix. In that case, she should have a chance to break free from the influence of her first martial soul. After all, the Radiant Phoenix possesses the power of light. Zhu Zhuqing said, perhaps, if they could be together, it would be a good thing. After all, Elder Long is quite lonely. Every time we get close to each other, Elder Long is actually quite awkward. Lu Yuan snickered. How can you still laugh? Zhu Zhuqing glanced at Lu Yuan and said, you said that Elder Yishi Shui disappeared in the end. I wonder where she went. Chapter 356. I don't know about that. Lu Yuan shrugged and said, Yishi Shui wasn't even in the Douluo world. If Long Xiaoyao still had a chance to meet Yishi Shui, it could only be if he signed in for the reward again. He had to sign in for the titled Douluo draw card from the last time, and he had to draw Yishi Shui. This was his only chance. Furthermore, the reward was arranged by the system every time he signed in for the reward. Even if he obtained the titled Douluo draw card again, he might not be able to draw Yishi Shui. The chances of that happening were pitifully small. However, Lu Yuan couldn't tell Zhu Zhuqing about the system. Hence, he told Zhu Zhuqing that Yishi Shui had disappeared by herself, and Long Xiaoyao couldn't find her. He was all alone. This was the best excuse he could give her now. Sigh, why can't 2 people who love each other like Elder Long and Elder Yi end up together? The heavens really make fools of people. Zhu Zhuqing sighed and said, there are many things in the world that don't go your way. It's not easy for 2 people who love each other to end up together. That's why we have to cherish the person in front of us. Lu Yuan smiled and said, speaking of which, Long Xiaoyao and Yishi Shui did end up together in the original novel. However, it was a pity that both of them didn't end up well. Yes, you're right. Zhu Zhuqing smiled as she looked at Lu Yuan's handsome face. Then, she picked up some food and placed it in front of Lu Yuan's mouth. I'm finally done with all the pills. Lu Yuan stretched lazily. After 4 consecutive days of non-stop refining pills, he had finally completed the refinement of all the pills he needed. 4 bottles of soul-returning pills, 10 pills in each bottle. 6 bottles of body-tempering pills, 3 of which are of high quality, 5 pills in each bottle. 3 of which are of medium quality, 8 pills in each bottle. 6 bottles of qi tempering pills, 3 of which are of high quality, 5 pills in each bottle. 3 of which are of medium quality, 10 pills in each bottle. 5 bottles of spirit-raising pills, 2 of which are of high quality, 5 pills in each bottle. 3 of which are of medium quality, 10 pills in each bottle. After carefully counting the pills, Lu Yuan nodded in satisfaction. This was the result of his 4 days of hard work. After 4 days of refining pills, the success rate of refining high-quality pills has increased a lot. However, I still haven't managed to refine a single pill of the best quality. Moreover, these pills are of lower quality. It seems that my alchemy skills are just at the entry level. There are still many things that I need to work hard on. Alchemy is indeed a very profound subject. However, with my entry speed, it can be considered quite fast. My talent in alchemy shouldn't be low, Lu Yuan murmured softly. But this alchemy is really tiring. Even with my mental strength, I still feel a little dizzy. Lu Yuan massaged his head. Concocting pills for such a long time was really something that consumed a lot of energy. Even with his current mental strength, he couldn't bear it. After all, alchemy required one to be completely focused and not have the slightest bit of carelessness. Otherwise, the furnace of pills was likely to be scrapped, and all efforts would be wasted. Therefore, when refining pills, one's mental strength was highly strained. For humans, mental strength was limited. It was fine if one's mental strength was strained for a short period of time. However, after a long period of time, people couldn't bear it. This wasn't the case for Lu Yuan's mental strength. After refining pills for 4 days, he felt a little dizzy. This was because he had used too much mental strength. Lu Yuan, are these all the pills? Zhu Zhuqing asked softly when she saw Lu Yuan counting the pills. Yes, the main ones are the soul-returning pills, body-tempering pills, qi-tempering pills, and spirit-raising pills. Take a bottle of each. These are all for you. Lu Yuan waved his hand and placed the 4 bottles of pills in Zhu Zhuqing's arms. Zhu Zhuqing hurriedly hugged them. The name of each pill is written on the outside. Right now, you are mainly taking the body-tempering pills and qi-tempering pills. Don't be in a hurry to take the spirit-raising pills. It won't be too late to take them when you become a soul ancestor. Right now, your task is to temper your body and polish your soul power. When your soul power is solid and your body is strong, I can give you that surprise. After you absorb that, your 4th soul ring will be in the bag. Lu Yuan smiled faintly. Lu Yuan, what is the surprise you were talking about? Zhu Zhuqing looked at Lu Yuan with a puzzled expression. You'll know when the time comes. I guarantee that you'll be surprised. Right now, let me keep you in suspense, Lu Yuan said as he pinched Zhu Zhuqing's nose. All right. Zhu Zhuqing could only nod her head obediently and put the 4 bottles of pills in her soul tool. Zhuqing, your soul tool should only have 10 cubic meters of storage space, right? Lu Yuan asked as he looked at the ring in Zhu Zhuqing's hand. Yes. Zhu Zhuqing nodded her head. 10 cubic meters is too small. When I have the chance, I'll make a bigger storage space for you. I'm afraid 10 cubic meters won't be enough, Lu Yuan said. Is that so? Then I'll have to thank you, young Master Lu. Zhu Zhuqing smiled. You. Lu Yuan tapped Zhu Zhuqing's forehead and gently brushed her long hair. Zhuqing, we're going back to Heavendo, Imperial City, Lu Yuan said as he put all the pills on the ground into his astral ring. All right, I don't mind. Wherever you go, I'll follow you, Zhu Zhuqing said with a serious look on her face. When he heard this, Lu Yuan felt a little warm in his heart. He gently caressed Zhu Zhuqing's face before holding her hand. Elder Long, Lu Yuan called out softly. Master. Lu Yuan had just finished speaking when Long Xiaoyao's figure suddenly appeared. Things here have come to an end. We're going back to Heavendo, Imperial City. Go and inform Douluo so that he can be prepared. Also, tell him to take good care of the herbs here. Tell him to be more careful. Don't let random people barge in and cause any damage here. The herbs here are very precious. Destroying any one of them will be a huge loss. When the Dragon King Hall is built, I'll send people to protect this place. This will be a secret realm that belongs to the Dragon King Hall. Furthermore, I've promised someone that I'll bring her here to take a look. Lu Yuan said plainly. Yes, master, Long Xiaoyao said. All right, Elder Long, you can go first. I'll pick a few more herbs and put them in my astral ring. When you return, we'll set off for Heaven Do, Imperial City. All right, master. I'll take my leave then. Long Xiaoyao nodded his head before his figure flashed and disappeared. As he watched Long Xiaoyao leave, Lu Yuan started to pick some herbs that he could use and put them in his astral ring. Zhu Zhuqing followed beside him. After picking some herbs, Lu Yuan even filled jade bottles with spring water in his ice fire Yinyang well. The extremely cold and hot spring water could sometimes be used as medicine. Not long after, when Lu Yuan was done, Long Xiaoyao returned. The few of them immediately got up and returned to Heaven Do Imperial City. Chapter 357. Is this the Blue Tyrant Academy? Four figures stood quietly at the entrance of the Blue Tyrant Academy. There were 3 men and 1 woman. They were Lu Yuan's group. Lu Yuan said as he looked at the academy in front of him. Yes, I sent someone to find out about it. It shouldn't be wrong. Dugu Bo's voice sounded. Elder Dugu, what about the herbs in the ice fire Yinyang? Well, since you followed us here, have you taken care of them? Don't let anyone destroy them. Lu Yuan said. Dugu Bo patted his chest and said confidently, Don't worry, home master. I've set up a few poison formations around the ice fire Yinyang well to protect those herbs. Apart from tidal Douluo, I'm sure no one can barge in. It's good that you're prepared. Don't let irrelevant people destroy the herbs. The losses outweigh the gains. After hearing Dugu Bo's words, Lu Yuan nodded and felt a lot more assured. Since Dugu Bo had said so, the poison formations must be very powerful. Apart from tidal Douluo, it should be very difficult for others to barge in. How many tidal Douluo were there in the entire Heaven Do Empire? Apart from the upper 3 sects, there was basically no one. Lu Yuan wasn't sure if there were any hidden sections. However, even if there were, they wouldn't appear in front of the public so easily since they were already hidden. Oh yes, after I buy the Blue Tyrant Academy, I should be staying here for some time. Find some time to bring Dugu Yin here. I'll take a look at her condition and prescribe some medicine. After that, I'll also refine some pills for her. Lu Yuan said. I understand. Thank you, Hall Master. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Dugu Bo smiled. Since Lu Yuan had taken the initiative to mention it, it meant that he had taken this matter to heart. Dugu Bo was naturally happy. Since Senior Dugu has joined the Dragon King Palace, we are a family now. You don't have to be so courteous. In the future, our Dragon King Palace will have 2 main industries. One is soul tools, and the other is pills. Soul tools require metals, and pills require herbs. I will have to trouble Senior Dugu with regards to the herbs. You have a great responsibility, Lu Yuan said. Thank you, Hall Master, for putting me in such an important position. This old man will definitely do a good job, Dugu Bo said in a clear voice, but after a while, his tone changed. Hall Master, this old man has another question. Speak, Lu Yuan said. I'm not afraid that the Hall Master will laugh at me. Although this old man has been using poisons all my life and knows a lot of medicinal herbs, there are many herbs that I don't recognize in the ice fire Yinyang Eye. I don't know how to take care of them, Dugu Bo said with some shame on his face. That's simple. I'll give you 100 herbs record when we get back. I wrote it when I was free. You can basically recognize all the herbs on the Douluo continent if you follow it, Lu Yuan said. He had already expected this to happen. As the Dragon King Palace grew stronger, he couldn't do everything himself. Therefore, it was very necessary to nurture some people to work for him. As such, he was going to let Dugu Bo be in charge of medicinal herbs. Thus, when he had some free time, he made some selections based on the Chrysanthemum Dao's Immortal Herb Collection and the Complete Pill Dao Solution, and created his own 100 Herbs collection. With this, The poison Douluo would be more than enough to take care of the herbs in the ice fire yin yang eye. Furthermore, the ice fire yin yang I belonged to the dragon clan, and Douluo had tacitly agreed to let Lu Yuan occupy it. However, Douluo had lived there for a long time, and even if he didn't mind letting someone else take care of it, it was inevitable that he would feel uncomfortable over time. This was human nature. Therefore, it was better to let Douluo take care of it himself. Furthermore, the poison Douluo had some knowledge of herbs. He was very suitable to take care of it. It was killing two birds with one stone. All right, since we're already at the entrance, let's go in first. I like to see what kind of demeanor Lu Erlong, who used to be the killing corner of the Golden Iron Triangle, has, Lu Yuan said calmly. Hello, everyone. I'm the Academy's reception teacher. May I know what you're here for? Lu Yuan and the others had just stepped into the academy when a teacher came forward to welcome them. This was because Lu Yuan and the others' auras were too extraordinary. Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing didn't need to be mentioned. They were handsome and beautiful. Their clothes were low-key, but they were luxurious. Long Xiaoyao was old, but he was very handsome. He seemed like a tall mountain that couldn't be looked up at as he stood there. However, he seemed to be at ease, as if he had returned to his original state. It was a very strange feeling. Ordinary people wouldn't feel anything when they saw him. However, upon closer inspection, they would realize that he was releasing an aura that could suppress heaven and earth. The most eye-catching person was Douluo. He was dressed in green, and he had an arrogant look on his face. He might have restrained himself in front of Lu Yuan, and his attitude was more proper. However, he was still a titled Douluo in front of others. He didn't restrain his aura at all. Anyone with the slightest discerning eye could tell that this was a big shot. After all, Douluo wasn't someone to be trifled with. In the original novel, he'd casually kicked everyone from Shrek Academy out of the Heaven Do Imperial Academy. The arrogance of a titled Douluo was vividly displayed on his body. Hence, this teacher from the Blue Tyrant Academy knew that Douluo was a big shot when he saw him. Furthermore, other than Douluo, Lu Yuan and the others also had extraordinary auras. He naturally didn't dare to slight them. We came to the Blue Tyrant Academy to discuss some things with Dean Lu Erlong. Can you lead the way? Lu Yuan asked the middle-aged teacher in front of him. The middle-aged teacher was a little hesitant. Our dean prefers peace and quiet. She usually doesn't meet outsiders unless there's something important. So I'm sorry. If you don't have any urgent matters, I can bring you to see Teacher Sunday. Usually, when the dean isn't around, he's in charge of the academy's matters. If you have something to discuss, you can discuss it with Teacher Sunday, the middle-aged teacher said. Hee. Lu Yuan chuckled and pointed at Douluo. This is the poison Douluo, Senior Douluo. He also has something to discuss with your dean. Don't you think the poison Douluo's matter is considered a big matter? Just as Lu Yuan finished speaking, a green light surged from Douluo's body. His martial soul possessed his body. 9 soul rings, yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, 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 appeared. That powerful aura caused the middle-aged teacher's hair to stand on end. His forehead was covered in cold sweat, and his legs went soft, causing him to almost fall. Lu Yuan was quick to react and held him up. The aura was withdrawn as soon as it was released. It came quickly and left quickly. With Lu Yuan's support, the middle-aged teacher steadied himself. However, his eyes were still filled with shock as he looked at Douluo. Chapter 358. Teacher, are you all right? Lu Yuan asked as he supported the middle-aged teacher's arm. I'm fine. Thank you for your help. The middle-aged teacher wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. Lu Yuan retracted his outstretched hand and asked, Teacher, can you take us to see Dean Lu Erlong now? Of course. Please follow me. The middle-aged teacher led the way in front, but he still seemed to have some lingering fear. He seemed to be walking on air, and his legs seemed to be a little weak. You're so mean. Look at how scared he is, Zhu Zhuqing whispered into Lu Yuan's ear as she followed behind the middle-aged teacher. This is faster. I don't have that much time to waste. When we see Dean Lu Erlong, I'll give him 2 soul recovery pills as compensation for his mental trauma, Lu Yuan said with a faint smile. You still have some compassion. I thought you wouldn't care about him after bullying him, Zhu Zhuqing said. After hearing Zhu Zhuqing's words, Lu Yuan was both angry and amused. He flicked his finger at Zhu Zhuqing. What are you thinking, little girl? What kind of person do you think I am? Other than people who have irreconcilable conflicts with me, when have I ever bullied anyone for no reason? In all his years of doing things, he had never bullied anyone who didn't have a conflict with the martial Soul Palace's goal of unifying the continent. After all, he couldn't bully anyone who didn't have a grudge against him. Other than that time, when he set up Heaven Do Imperial Academy to help share, he only targeted Tang, San, and Dai Mu Bai. After all, they were destined to be enemies with the martial Soul Palace. He didn't even scheme against Grandmaster, whom Lu Yuan didn't like. As long as Grandmaster didn't provoke him, he couldn't be bothered to deal with him. Even when he had subdued Douluo, he had tried peaceful means before resorting to force. He had given Douluo enough. He had given Douluo a poison pill technique, so that the jade-scaled snake lineage would no longer have to worry about being poisoned and could be passed down forever. This was much better than the jade-scaled snake bloodline in the original work. In the original novel, would Douluo still have the jade-scaled snake martial soul when he reached the 2nd level? No, it had long been lost. After all, his goal was to unify the continent and abolish slavery. How could he bully others for no reason? Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing snorted proudly and muttered, You said you don't bully others, but you bully me every day. It's you. Although Zhu Zhuqing's voice was soft, how could she hide it from Lu Yuan? He heard everything clearly and felt a little amused. This little kitten was really getting more and more jumpy these days. Her little temper had increased a lot, but he liked it. Squeezing Zhu Zhuqing's small hand, Lu Yuan and the other 3 followed behind the middle-aged teacher. As they walked, the 4 of them followed the middle-aged teacher into a small path. Following the path, they walked into the forest outside the main campus. Looking at the forest in front of them, Douluo couldn't help but ask why. Your dean doesn't live in the campus? Replying to your majesty, our dean likes peace and quiet and lives alone in the forest. Teacher Sun is basically in charge of the academy's matters. Only major matters are decided by the dean, the middle-aged teacher said, his tone filled with respect for Lu Erlong. It seems like Lu Erlong's position in the hearts of these teachers is quite high. Hearing the middle-aged teacher's words, Lu Yuan thought to himself. One had to admit that Lu Erlong could be considered an extraordinary girl. She dared to love and hate. It was a pity that she fell in love with the wrong person. If the person she fell in love with back then wasn't the master but Flinder, she would definitely be living a very happy life now. She wouldn't have waited for over 20 years from a young girl to a middle-aged woman. Hearing the middle-aged teacher's words, Douluo nodded and didn't say anything else. The few of them followed the middle-aged teacher into the depths of the forest. After walking for a while, a simple wooden house entered their eyes. There were some flowers and plants beside the house, and a beautiful woman was holding a watering can. She was bending over slightly and watering the flowers and plants. It seemed like the group's footsteps had alarmed her. She turned her head and frowned slightly, looking in the direction of Lu Yuan and the others. Lu Yuan saw Lu Erlong with a single glance. She was a beautiful woman who looked to be in her 30s. Her beautiful face was slightly pale, and she didn't wear any makeup. However, it couldn't hide her exquisite appearance. She had a pair of big black eyes that were lively and full of vigor. Moreover, her mature and voluptuous figure was especially enchanting. Even though she was wearing the simplest green robe, it couldn't hide the shocking temptation she had for men. Even in Lu Yuan's eyes, Lu Erlong was a great beauty that was hard to come by. Her beauty naturally couldn't be compared to Bibi Dan and Gu Yuna. There was still a gap. However, she could still be considered a top-notch existence. At least among the women that Lu Yuan had seen, there weren't many who could surpass her. It was no wonder that Flinder had been thinking about her for more than 20 years. She really did have this charm. Stunned, Zhu Zhuqing's jade-like hand gently climbed onto Lu Yuan's waist. Her tone was cold. What are you talking about? Do I look like the kind of person who has never seen a woman? She is indeed very beautiful, but compared to you and senior sister, she is still a little lacking. Lu Yuan said lightly, and you are still young. In a few years, your figure will be better than hers. Lu Yuan whispered the last sentence in Zhu Zhuqing's ear. Pervert. Zhu Zhuqing's beautiful eyes glanced at Lu Yuan, but there was a trace of smile on her face. As long as it was a woman, there was no woman who didn't like being praised for her beauty and good figure, especially when this person was her lover. That kind of joy was beyond words. Didn't you say not to disturb me? Why have you brought people here again? Lu Erlong's voice was indifferent as she looked at the middle-aged man. She didn't seem to be in a very good mood. President, these people have something important to discuss with you. This is the poisoned Douluo, and he is with them. I don't have the authority to make decisions, so I could only bring them here to see you. Oh, Lu Erlong's heart jolted upon hearing this. Why was this titled Douluo looking for her? She didn't seem to have offended this titled Douluo. Furthermore, this poisoned Douluo didn't seem to be the leader of this group. Instead, he was more like a follower. With that in mind, Lu Erlong's heart began to thump wildly. A titled Douluo as a follower? Looking at Lu Yuan, who was standing at the head of the table, Lu Erlong's eyes flickered. This young man seemed to be the leader. Then, for Douluo to follow behind him like a follower, who exactly was this young man? Chapter 359. Looking at the handsome Lu Yuan in the distance, Lu Erlong had to admit that in all her years of experience, this was the first time she had seen such an outstanding young man. Of course, this outstanding young man was mainly handsome. This young man was a little too handsome. He was so handsome that even she, who had given her heart to Yu Xiaojiang, couldn't help but want to take a few more glances at him. It wasn't that she didn't love Yu Xiaojiang. It was just that this young man was too tempting to any woman. If it were a young lady, this young man would probably be able to get his hands on her easily. Besides this young man, the young lady beside him was also shockingly beautiful. Her cold face was incomparably beautiful, and she exuded a cold aura. However, her figure was extremely hot. Lu Erlong was a little shocked when she saw this young lady's shocking figure. This young lady's figure wasn't inferior to hers. Furthermore, she didn't have that youthful vibe. Such a young lady would definitely be very popular with men. However, seeing how the two of them were holding hands, this young man and woman should be a couple. It had to be said that the man was handsome and the woman was beautiful. Together, they were a perfect match. However, Lu Erlong had seen the world. She was also a rank 78 soul sage. After taking a few glances, she retracted her gaze. May I know what matter you have to discuss with me? Lu Erlong asked faintly. Even though this group of people was clearly not ordinary, and there was even a titled Douluo like Douluo around, Lu Erlong had always been a bold person. She wasn't afraid, so she didn't express much of a welcoming attitude. Haha, Dean Lu, do you want to discuss things here? Aren't you going to invite us over? Lu Yuan chuckled as he spoke. You're my guest. I didn't think it through. Please come in. Lu Erlong extended her hand and pointed at the wooden house as she spoke. Playing with the teacup in his hand, Lu Yuan softly said, although the furnishings of Dean Lu's wooden house are simple, there is an indescribable charm to it. It seems that Dean Lu also spent some effort on it. May I know this young man's name? Looking at Lu Yuan, who was sitting opposite her, Lu Erlong's eyes flashed with some surprise, but she asked faintly. As for why he was surprised, this was because apart from Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing, the other two old men, including Douluo, were all standing. Lu Erlong did not know the handsome black-clothed old man and did not know how powerful he was. However, judging from Douluo's respect for him, he was also a titled Douluo. Furthermore, he might even be stronger than Douluo. Two titled Douluo were standing behind this young man, and they seemed to be completely willing to do so. They didn't complain at all. What did this mean? This meant that this young man's identity was unexpectedly noble, and his background was perhaps even greater than she had imagined. My surname is Liu, and my name is Yuan. Beside me is my fiancé, Zhu Zhuqing, Liu Yuan said softly. Fiancé? He said that I'm his fiancé? After hearing Liu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing was secretly delighted. Her cold eyes rippled slightly, and she looked at Liu Yuan with some affection in her eyes. This was the first time Liu Yuan had openly announced her identity in front of outsiders. She was the last to follow Liu Yuan, but she was the only one who could always follow beside Liu Yuan. Liu Yuan was also very concerned about her. She was actually very satisfied. After hearing Liu Yuan admit that she was his fiancée so generously, Zhu Zhuqing was very happy. Perhaps she was the only one among Liu Yuan's women who could say it openly. After all, Liu Yuan's identity couldn't be exposed. Chihiro Snow and Hulina naturally couldn't be announced to the world either. As she thought until here, Zhu Zhuqing squinted her eyes. Although she couldn't break through the final step with Liu Yuan and was one step behind the two of them, she was finally ahead in this aspect. Miss Zhu is so beautiful. Young Master Liu is very fortunate. A look of envy flashed across Liu Erlong's eyes. Once upon a time, she also wished that she could interact so intimately with the person she liked. Unfortunately, that man had been hiding from her for more than 20 years after an unforeseen event. God knew how a woman like her withstood the pressure for 20 years. Thinking about it, Liu Erlong felt that these 20 years had been very difficult. Xiao Gang, where are you? Why haven't you come to see me for so many years? I really miss you. Liu Erlong sighed in her heart. But in the end, Liu Yuan and the others were here. Liu Erlong quickly gathered her emotions and said, I wonder why young Master Liu is looking for me. It's nothing big. I just think that Blue Tyrant Academy isn't bad, so I want to buy it. Liu Yuan smiled faintly and said, I wonder if Principal Liu can make it convenient for me. What? You want to buy our Blue Tyrant Academy? Liu Erlong's expression was a little surprised. She didn't think that Liu Yuan would come here to buy her Blue Tyrant Academy. She thought it was something else. However, she wouldn't sell Blue Tyrant Academy so easily. I'm sorry, young Master Liu. I have no intention of selling Blue Tyrant Academy. Liu Erlong directly rejected. Principal Liu, you don't have to be in a hurry to reject. If you're worried that I won't take in any more commoners after buying Blue Tyrant Academy, you can rest assured. I admire the fact that Blue Tyrant Academy only takes in commoners. That's why I came to Principal Liu to buy it. I believe that in my hands, Blue Tyrant Academy will become even more prosperous. After all, Principal Liu, do you really have the heart to manage Blue Tyrant Academy? Liu Yuan said indifferently. What does young Master Liu mean by this? Hearing this, Liu Erlong frowned and asked, There's no other meaning. It's just that I've heard of the story of the Golden Iron Triangle. For example, at a certain wedding ceremony, a man immediately ran away after finding out that the bride was his sister, leaving a woman alone to wait for more than 20 years. I've heard of this before. It seems that the bride was called Liu Erlong. Don't you think so? Principal Liu, Liu Yuan said with a faint smile. Bang! Liu Erlong slammed her palm on the table. Her long, shapely eyebrows were furrowed, and her beautiful eyes were filled with anger. She glared fiercely at Liu Yuan and forced out a sentence from between her teeth. Surnamed Liu, what do you mean by this? Are you mocking me? Audacious! How dare you be so impudent in front of the Hall Master? Seeing that Liu Erlong dared to question Liu Yuan like this, and even slammed the table, Douluo immediately stood up. His powerful aura instantly pressed down on Liu Erlong's body. Liu Erlong's beautiful face instantly turned pale. Her body was on the verge of collapse, and sweat appeared on her forehead. One must know that this time wasn't like before. Douluo's pressure was fleeting. He was prepared to use his true strength. Chapter 360. How strong was a titled Douluo's aura? Generally speaking, even a rank 91 titled Douluo's aura could only be resisted by a Soul Douluo. Apart from exceptional geniuses, no one below Soul Douluo could fight back. Furthermore, Douluo's soul power was at rank 93. He wasn't someone that a soul sage like Lu Erlong could resist. Suddenly, Lu Erlong was on the verge of collapsing. Her pretty face was pale, and her red lips seemed to be bleeding because she was clenching her teeth. Seeing Lu Erlong like this, Lu Yuan hurriedly stopped her. "Elder Douluo, please retract your aura." Lu Yuan admired Lu Erlong. Furthermore, Lu Yuan didn't like to use such a forceful method unless it was absolutely necessary. If he wanted to buy the Blue Tyrant Academy, he could do it in a roundabout way. He didn't have to use such a forceful method. After all, bullying a woman wasn't something to be proud of. It didn't fit Lu Yuan's character either. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Douluo snorted and retracted his aura. Once Douluo retracted his aura, Lu Erlong seemed to have lost all her strength. She collapsed onto the chair. However, even though she was collapsed on the chair, she was still glaring fiercely at Lu Yuan. After all, Lu Yuan's words had hit the weakest spot in her heart. That was also the most painful memory in her life. She loved her elder brother, who was related to her by blood. They were brother and sister. Ah, brother and sister. What a sarcastic word. Furthermore, Xiao Gang had been hiding for more than 20 years after that day. As a woman, she had resisted for more than 20 years. How much pressure did she have to withstand? Under such circumstances, Lu Erlong's heart was exceptionally sensitive. Therefore, she thought that Lu Yuan was mocking her when he mentioned it. She couldn't suppress the anger in her heart. After all, she had a violent personality. She almost exploded on the spot. Looking at the fierceness in Lu Erlong's eyes, Lu Yuan sighed in his heart. Sure enough, his idea was right. It was useless to force Lu Erlong. She had a bad temper and was a person who could be persuaded by reason but not cowed by force. "Dean Lu, please don't be angry. I don't have any ill intentions, nor do I have any intention of making fun of you. On the contrary, I admire you very much. You are a truly extraordinary woman," Lu Yuan said from the bottom of his heart. "Don't flatter me. I don't care." After hearing Lu Yuan's words, the fierceness in Lu Erlong's eyes gradually disappeared. Perhaps she was really too sensitive. "I'm really not flattering you. You dare to fight for your feelings. You dare to love and hate. You don't care about how the world looks at you. You've protected your love for more than 20 years. Just this point alone makes 99% of the women in the world inferior to you. Therefore, I really don't have any intention of making fun of you." Lu Yuan's words were sincere. What I want to say is that since Dean Lu is so lovesick that you don't even have the heart to take care of the Academy's affairs, why don't you sell the Blue Tyrant Academy to me? I dare to guarantee you that the Blue Tyrant Academy will definitely develop better than it is now in my hands. Is that so? Lu Erlong gradually recovered. Her body was straight again. After all, she was a soul sage. Her recovery speed was very fast. Lu Erlong's eyes stared straight at Lu Yuan. "However, I still won't agree to it. It's because I don't trust you." "Why?" Lu Yuan asked. "I can tell that your identity is extraordinary just by looking at you. Furthermore, even a titled Douluo like Douluo is accompanying you. You must be a top-tier noble. Would you be interested in an academy that only recruits commoners? If I sell the academy to you, I'm afraid you'll destroy it. It's not easy for commoners to find an academy to study in. I can't cut off their opportunity to study. After all, other than our academy, there's no other academy in Heavendo City that specifically recruits commoners. There are more academies like the Heavendo Imperial Academy that only recruit noble students. Even the 4 elemental academies recruit commoners, but the fees are ridiculously high. Ordinary commoners simply can't afford such high fees. If our academy disappears, many commoners will really lose their opportunity to study. Therefore, I can't agree to this request of yours." Hearing this, Lu Yuan revealed a bitter smile. He didn't expect Lu Erlong to reject him because of this. "Zhu Qing, do I look like a noble?" Lu Yuan looked at Zhu Zhuqing, who was beside him. "Very." Zhu Zhuqing nodded slightly. "Yes." After hearing Zhu Zhuqing's words, the 2 titled Douluo standing behind Lu Yuan nodded. They expressed that Zhu Zhuqing's words made sense. Hearing this, Lu Yuan couldn't help but size himself up. Indeed, regardless of whether it was the white robe woven from fine cloud silk, the purple jade Qilin pendant on his waist, or the star ring on his finger, they were all things that commoners couldn't afford to wear. Furthermore, with his status, he was indeed one of the most elite nobles. Lu Yuan had no way to refute this. Dean Lu, I feel that you can't reject me just because of my status as a noble. Aren't you being too arbitrary? How about this? Even if I buy the Blue Tyrant Academy, I'll still let you be the dean. You can see with your own eyes whether or not my methods and measures are beneficial to commoners. As long as you feel that I'm doing something wrong, you can immediately stop me. How about it? I'm saying this with enough sincerity, right? Lu Yuan said. Oh. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Lu Erlong looked at Lu Yuan curiously. Is he lying to me? Or is he really able to do this? Why don't I believe in nobles who think for commoners? One had to know that she was an exception. Although her father was the blue lightning tyrant dragon Sexu Luo crown, she was an illegitimate daughter. Her life wasn't much different from that of commoners. She was different from those nobles who came from sections. However, people like her were in the minority after all. Could this young man, who looked like a top-notch noble, really do something like this? Actually, Dean Lu, you don't have to worry. I'm different from those people from the Heaven-Do Imperial Academy. On the contrary, I hate them. Dean Lu, you've been in Heaven-Do Imperial City for so long. Don't you feel that the name Lu Yuan is a little familiar? I think 2 years ago, my name was quite famous in Heaven-Do Imperial City. Lu Yuan said. Lu Yuan, Lu Erlong muttered softly. Your name is indeed a little familiar, but I can't remember where I've heard it. Lu Erlong furrowed her brows. If you don't remember the name Lu Yuan, then I'm sure you'll remember another name. You've heard of the Dragon Emperor Douluo, Long Xiaoyao, right? Chapter 361. The Dragon Emperor Douluo Long Xiaoyao. Lu Erlong's eyes abruptly widened. This was a man who had once been extremely renowned in Heaven-Do Imperial City. He could send a titled Douluo flying with a wave of his hand, and his aura could make 3 Soul Douluos kneel before him. Such a person would naturally attract the attention of many organizations. In comparison, Lu Yuan was Long Xiaoyao's master, but his reputation in Heaven-Do Imperial City couldn't compare to Long Xiaoyao's. An ultimate Douluo's deterrence was unimaginable. This was especially true in the Douluo continent, where titled Douluo were the most powerful existences. A limit Douluo was basically the most powerful existence in the human world. Even the Heaven-Do Imperial family had to give in to him. It was hard for others not to remember him. Even though Lu Erlong liked to be quiet and alone, she had heard of the Dragon Emperor Douluo's name before. Yes, this is the Dragon Emperor Douluo behind me, Elder Long. Lu Yuan smiled and said, "This." A look of astonishment flashed across Lu Erlong's eyes when she saw Long Xiaoyao behind Lu Yuan. No wonder this old man in black couldn't be ignored, even though he didn't seem to stand out. Even Douluo seemed to respect him. It turned out that he was the Dragon Emperor Douluo, who had been the talk of the town. He could make Douluo vomit blood with a wave of his hand, so it was no wonder that Douluo respected him so much. After all, he didn't dare to be disrespectful to someone who could easily crush Douluo, no matter how arrogant he was. Furthermore, the Dragon Emperor Douluo was following him. Wasn't this young man's identity obvious? You're the Lu Yuan who caused havoc in the Heaven-Do Imperial Academy? Lu Erlong looked at Lu Yuan with a look of understanding. No wonder this name sounded familiar. Lu Yuan was the Lu Yuan from back then, the Lu Yuan who had trampled the entire Heaven-Do Imperial Academy. That's me. Lu Yuan immediately admitted when he saw that Lu Erlong had reacted. Dean Lu, this proves that I'm not on the same side as the Heaven-Do Imperial Academy, right? Lu Yuan said. That's fine. After learning about Lu Yuan's past, the wariness in Lu Erlong's eyes lessened. She had a good impression of him. She didn't like the Heaven-Do Imperial Academy either. The Heaven-Do Imperial Academy was too decadent. Although things had gotten better with Schwetching as management, the rule of only enrolling nobles hadn't changed. Lu Erlong still had a lot of complaints about this. Rumor had it that Lu Yuan had wreaked havoc in the Heaven-Do Imperial Academy because the fourth prince of the Heaven-Do Imperial family had bullied a commoner. Regardless of whether this rumor was true or not, at least it could be seen that Lu Yuan's attitude towards the commoners was more amiable, unlike other nobles who often looked down on them. Therefore, Lu Erlong believed a lot of Lu Yuan's words. Then Dean Lu, you don't have to worry about me having a bad opinion of commoners, right? I actually have a lot of goodwill towards them. Lu Yuan smiled. I heard you taught the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect Yu Tianheng a lesson back at the Heaven-Do Imperial Academy? Lu Erlong didn't answer. Instead, she asked Lu Yuan a question of her own. Yes. What? Do you want to get back at me for Yu Tianheng? If I recall correctly, even though Dean Lu is from the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, he doesn't seem to be on good terms with the sect, Lu Yuan said. You seem to know a lot about me. Lu Erlong said. Since I want to buy the Blue Tyrant Academy, I naturally have to do some research. I just so happen to know a little about you. Lu Yuan smiled. Is that so? Lu Erlong raised her beautiful eyes and scrutinized Lu Yuan. What? Why is Dean Lu looking at me like that? Is there something dirty on my face? Lu Yuan said. That's not it. Lu Erlong said. Although you're tall, you don't seem very old. However, your soul power rank is very high. You're truly a rare genius. It's no wonder you were able to defeat Yu Tianheng back then. If you want me to agree to your request, that's fine. Let's make a bet. Lu Erlong said. What bet? Lu Yuan asked. Since you're a genius and were able to defeat several soul ancestors and soul elders 2 years ago, you must be even stronger now. I won't say anything else. As long as you can force me to use my 5th soul skill, I'll agree to your request and sell the Blue Tyrant Academy to you. Lu Erlong said. Since she already knew that Lu Yuan was the same Lu Yuan from 2 years ago, Lu Erlong's worries were naturally put to rest. As long as Lu Yuan didn't mistreat the commoner students, selling the academy to him wasn't a big deal. After all, her thoughts weren't on the academy. In the original work, when Flinder came, she also casually gave the position of dean to him without any reluctance. In Lu Erlong's heart, what she yearned for was love. This academy was nothing more than something she established to pass time when she was bored. At the same time, she also had the intention of helping the commoner students. As long as the commoner students could still enter the academy as usual, Lu Erlong didn't really care whether she was the dean or not. However, even though she didn't care much about it, she wouldn't sell the academy so easily. She wanted to see how powerful this legendary genius was. Only when his strength was recognized by her would she sell the academy to him. Otherwise, even if there were 2 titled Douluo, so what? She, Lu Erlong, wasn't afraid. Force you to use your 5th soul skill? Lu Yuan blinked his eyes, feeling a little amused in his heart. Let's change the terms of the bet, Lu Yuan said. What, are you afraid? Lu Erlong said indifferently. If Lu Yuan was really afraid and didn't even have the courage to fight, then she would look down on him in her heart. For some reason, she really hated those kinds of men who didn't have courage. Afraid? Dean Lu, you're looking down on me too much. What I mean is that forcing you to use your 5th soul skill is too easy. Let's change the terms of the bet. If I win, you'll sell the Blue Tyrant Academy to me. If I lose, then there's no need to say anything else. I'll just turn around and leave, Lu Yuan said. Brat, you seem to be a little too arrogant. A trace of displeasure flashed through Lu Erlong's eyes. For some reason, she didn't like those kind of cowardly men. However, at the same time, she also hated those kind of people who were arrogant. For example, Lu Yuan in front of her. Chapter 362. She was a rank 78 soul sage, and her martial soul was the Fire Dragon, a variant of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon. Her attack was relatively strong. Although Lu Yuan's soul power was a little strange and shockingly condensed, she could clearly sense that he was only at rank 46. Whether or not he could force her to use her fifth soul skill was still a problem. Lu Erlong's impression of Lu Yuan became a little bad after hearing that he dared to boast that he could defeat her. He was indeed a genius, but his character was too arrogant. With her current soul power, she was at least as strong as a soul emperor, even if she only used her fifth soul skill. This youth was only at rank 46. Even if he was a genius, he could only fight against a soul king. He was already a monster if he could threaten a soul emperor. If he could reach such a level, Lu Erlong had acknowledged him. However, Lu Yuan actually said that he could defeat her. Lu Erlong found this a little funny. He probably didn't know how strong a soul sage with a martial soul true body was. Arrogant. After hearing Lu Erlong's evaluation, Lu Yuan smiled faintly and said, "Dean Lu, having strength is called confidence. Not having strength is called arrogance. I believe in my own strength." "Is that so?" Lu Erlong laughed coldly. "Yes." Lu Yuan nodded and said, "I heard that Dean Lu's martial soul is a fire dragon, right? It's a variant of the blue lightning tyrant dragon. It has mutated from lightning to flames?" "You know quite a lot." Lu Erlong admitted to Lu Yuan's words. "Haha, a fire dragon martial soul. Interesting. Perhaps there's a surprise waiting for Dean Lu." Lu Yuan smiled, and his expression was a little mysterious. Fire dragon martial soul? Lu Yuan would let Lu Erlong know how powerless her fire dragon martial soul was in front of the golden dragon. To Lu Yuan, Lu Erlong's fire dragon martial soul was far less of a threat to him than Zhao Wuji, who was at rank 76, even though her soul power was at rank 78. This was because the suppression of the golden dragon martial soul was enough to let her know what cruelty was. "What do you mean?" Lu Erlong raised her brows. "You'll know soon enough." Lu Yuan stood up. "Since the bet has been set, let's begin. Let's not waste any more time. Since you're bent on losing, I'll satisfy you." "Don't worry, I'll go easy on you," Lu Erlong said indifferently. "Hee hee." Lu Yuan chuckled and walked out of the wooden house. Deep in the forest, Lu Yuan and Lu Erlong stood facing each other. There was a tinge of excitement in Lu Yuan's eyes. Ever since he had left Shrek Academy, he hadn't fought anyone for a long time. After all, his strength far surpassed his peers, and only those experts of the older generation could exchange blows with him. In Shrek Academy, there was Zhao Wuji, but after leaving Shrek Academy, there was no opponent to train with. Lu Yuan acknowledged Zhao Wuji, who was the closest to him in Shrek Academy. Otherwise, Lu Yuan wouldn't have given him the Dark Golden Terraclaw Bear Soul Bone. Although Zhao Wuji didn't have a good reputation, he was very loyal and treated Lu Yuan well. Naturally, Lu Yuan wasn't someone who would be stingy with a soul bone. Thinking about it carefully, it had been a few months since he left Shrek Academy, and he hadn't fought much in these few months. To be honest, he was itching for a fight. The main reason was that there weren't any suitable opponents. Chihiro Snow and the others were too weak, while Long Xiaoyao was too strong. Therefore, Lu Yuan could only suppress his desire to fight. Today, he met Lu Erlong and could fight to his heart's content. As long as Lu Yuan didn't use his polychoria, he could still fight Lu Erlong. "Let's begin," Lu Yuan said indifferently as he looked at Lu Erlong. "Kid, are you really not going to change the bet?" Lu Erlong asked. "There's no need for that," Lu Yuan said plainly. Golden light shone from his body, and his golden dragon martial soul attached to his body. Golden scales started to crawl on his arms, and his hands turned into sharp dragon claws. A pair of huge dragon wings also sprouted from Lu Yuan's back, and they flapped in the wind. A loud dragon's roar resonated in the forest, and 4 soul rings, yellow, purple, and black, rippled beneath Lu Yuan's body. A strong aura spread from Lu Yuan's body. A strong dragon's aura pressed down on Lu Erlong. "What's this soul ring combination?" Looking at the 4 soul rings shining on Lu Yuan's body, other than the first yellow soul ring, which was slightly more normal, the remaining 3 soul rings were each more unbelievable than the last. They were far beyond common sense. The second soul ring was a 1,000-year soul ring, and the third was a 10,000-year soul ring. Especially the fourth 10,000-year soul ring, which was as black as ink. The black color was so deep, which meant that the 10,000-year soul ring was very old. It seemed to be even darker than her seventh soul ring. One had to know that her seventh soul ring was at least 40,000 years old, which was even older than her seventh soul ring. Didn't that mean that this kid's fourth soul ring was at least 50,000 years old? Oh my God, what kind of freak is he? No wonder this kid was so arrogant. Now it seemed like it wasn't arrogance, but confidence in his own strength. Furthermore, this strong aura was suppressing her. Lu Erlong frowned. She felt a little uncomfortable. This aura was actually suppressing the fire dragon martial soul in her body. Her martial soul actually felt like it wanted to crawl. However, Lu Erlong was still very strong. She forcefully suppressed this throbbing feeling, but her beautiful face carried a trace of seriousness. Martial soul possession. Lu Erlong let out a low roar, and a dragon's roar also sounded. Red scales climbed onto Lu Erlong's body, and waves of flames were released. The air seemed to be scorching hot, and 7 soul rings, yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, and black, were released from Lu Erlong's body. Similarly, a strong aura was released and resisted Lu Yuan's golden dragon's aura. Using your advantage and soul power to resist, Lu Erlong's fire dragon martial soul's flames seemed to wilt when it faced the golden dragon. It was obvious that it was being suppressed. However, Lu Erlong forcefully resisted. Apart from using her soul power, which was more than 30 ranks higher than Lu Yuan's, there was no other way. After all, Lu Erlong was a soul sage. Her rank was much higher than Lu Yuan's. It was unrealistic to expect her to crawl on the ground like Yu Qianheng did back then. Furthermore, Lu Yuan had only used his golden dragon martial soul earlier. He hadn't even activated his golden dragon bloodline. It was normal for his attack to be resisted. Golden light flashed in his hand, and the golden dragon spear appeared in his hand. Lu Yuan stomped his right foot on the ground, and a huge crater appeared in the muddy ground of the forest. The golden dragon spear shone with a sharp light as it pierced towards Lu Erlong. Since Lu Erlong didn't want to make the first move, he would let her. Be careful, Dean Lu. Spear technique, vast ocean. The golden dragon's spear stabbed out, and the sound of rolling waves could be heard. Before the spear arrived, a torrential aura was already released. Chapter 363. This spear was infused with Lu Yuan's spear intent as it pierced towards Lu Erlong. Lu Yuan's spear wasn't very fast, but in Lu Erlong's eyes, it was like a raging wave that was about to engulf her. Spear technique, vast ocean. This was a spear technique that Lu Yuan had created after he comprehended spear intent. Although it wasn't the strongest, it was the most convenient because it was created by himself. In Lu Yuan's hands, this technique was relatively strong with the addition of his vast ocean spear intent. First soul skill, violent dragon's possession. Lu Erlong's first soul ring lit up, and dragon scales started to cover her body. Her right arm, right shoulder, calves, and feet were all covered with thick scales. In addition to the scales on her torso, they formed an armor. Apart from her left arm and left shoulder, her entire body was covered with scales. Second soul skill, dragon arm. Lu Erlong's second soul ring also flickered with yellow light. Her arms were covered with thick armor formed by dragon scales. This time, her entire body was covered with dragon scale armor. After unleashing these 2 soul skills, Lu Erlong's aura became much stronger. Apart from her head, the rest of her body was covered with dragon scales. She really did look like a human-shaped violent dragon. Faced with Lu Yuan's spear, Lu Erlong waved her arms. Flames flew, and her dragon claws collided with the golden dragon spear. Pa! The golden dragon spear flicked slightly, and scales flew. Although Lu Yuan didn't use his full strength, it still contained more than 60,000 kilograms of strength. In addition to the strength of his spear intent and the golden dragon's spear's innate sharpness, this spear directly flicked away the armor on Lu Erlong's arm. At the same time, it forced her back more than 10 meters before she stabilized herself. Lu Yuan retracted his spear and stood there with a calm expression. "Dean Lu, you'd better give it your all. Otherwise, I'm afraid you won't be able to hold on for long." His golden dragon martial soul already had a huge suppressive effect on Lu Erlong. If Lu Erlong had only used this much strength, the battle would have ended very quickly. Looking at the broken vambrace on her arm, Lu Erlong's eyes showed a trace of seriousness. Her vambrace defensive power was quite strong, but under the spear, it seemed to be easily pierced through. What kind of weapon was that gun? Moreover, the brat in front of him was a little too strong. What was even more troublesome was that brat's martial soul. It was too much of a counter to her fire dragon martial soul. Because of this counter, her soul skills were unable to be fully unleashed. It seemed like he really had to fight for real. Otherwise, he might really lose. Lu Erlong thought to herself. She looked at Lu Yuan with some fluctuations in her eyes. This young man was really strong. It seemed that he was not arrogant, but she had underestimated him. Fourth soul skill, bloodthirsty flames. Lu Erlong's fire dragon martial soul let out a loud dragon roar and released a strong dragon flame in front of her. The released dragon flame formed a wave of air that attacked Lu Yuan. Faced with the surging dragon flame, Lu Yuan smiled faintly. It was a fire attack. What a coincidence. He seemed to be immune to fire. Lu Yuan, be careful. Following Zhu Zhuqing's scream, the rolling flames engulfed Lu Yuan and burned fiercely. Rascal! Seeing that Lu Yuan didn't resist in the slightest, Lu Erlong was shocked. The power of her attack was tyrannical. Could something have happened to this kid? Lu Yuan. Zhu Zhuqing was anxious. She did not know that Lu Yuan had the ability to be immune to fire. As the time was too rushed, Lu Yuan forgot to mention it. Therefore, seeing Lu Yuan being engulfed by the flames, Zhu Zhuqing was very anxious. "Mistress, don't worry. Master is fine. He has the ability to be immune to fire." Through the raging flames, Long Xiaoyao could see that Lu Yuan was unharmed. Even his sleeve was not damaged. He recalled that his master had eaten the star anise mysterious ice grass and the blazing delicate apricot. Evidently, Lu Yuan had obtained the ability to be immune to fire and ice. The flames gradually dissipated, and Lu Yuan's figure was revealed. He held the golden dragon spear in his hand and walked forward gently. When he saw Lu Erlong's stunned expression, he smiled faintly. "Dean Lu, I forgot to tell you that I have the ability to be immune to fire. Therefore, fire attacks can't hurt me." Hearing this, Lu Erlong's face turned black. Her martial soul was a fire dragon, and she was also a fire-type soul master. Without the ability to attack with fire, her abilities would be greatly reduced. It would be strange if her expression was pleasant. This was the same as when Tang San heard that Lu Yuan was immune to all control-type skills. He felt as if he had accidentally swallowed a fly. Huff! Seeing that Lu Yuan was fine, Zhu Zhuqing heaved a sigh of relief. She couldn't help but curse Lu Yuan in her heart. This rascal always liked to do things that left her on tenterhooks. "Dean Lu, let's continue." Lu Yuan stepped forward, and his golden dragon spear swept horizontally towards Lu Erlong. Lu Erlong also channeled her soul power, and her body advanced rapidly. Even if she didn't use her fire-type abilities, her attacks weren't weak. Her martial soul was a fire dragon, after all. The physical bodies of dragons were very strong. Fourth soul skill, Golden Dragon Roar. After forcing Lu Erlong back with a punch, Lu Yuan opened his mouth, and a deafening dragon roar reverberated through the entire forest. Streaks and streaks of golden ripples crushed towards Lu Erlong. Golden Dragon Roar, a powerful soul skill from a 60,000-year soul ring. Fifth soul skill, Soaring Flames. His remaining fifth soul ring suddenly lit up, and layers of scorching flames began to surge around Lu Erlong's body. These flames quickly rotated, forming a powerful energy vortex. Not only could this vortex be used to attack enemies, but it also had a scorching effect. At the same time, it could also be used for defense, and it was a very rare skill. Even though the flames couldn't harm Lu Yuan, they could still be used to defend against his golden dragon roar. The sound waves from the golden dragon roar were imbued with enormous energy as they hurtled toward Lu Erlong, clashing directly with the vortex of dragon flames around her. The sound waves clashed directly with the vortex of flames, and streaks of dragon flames were torn apart before scattering in all directions. It was as if a rain of fire were falling from the sky, creating a very spectacular scene. Zhu Zhuqing clasped her hands tightly over her ears. This golden dragon roar was simply far too ear-piercing. Even though she was quite a distance away from the two of them, the sound was still rather unbearable to her ears. Lu Yuan opened his mouth wide, and sound waves erupted from his mouth, surging toward Lu Erlong in an unending stream. Lu Erlong also increased her soul power, and streaks of dragon flames began to revolve in a frenzy, resisting the golden dragon roar's sound waves without backing down. Bursts of energy fluctuations immediately proliferated through the air, and everything in the surrounding area was instantly torn to shreds. Bits of grass and dirt flew through the air. Chapter 364. The Hall Master is indeed quite strong. Douluo couldn't help but exclaim as he watched the two of them in a stalemate. Lu Yuan was rank 47, while Lu Erlong was rank 78. There was a gap of around 30 ranks between them, but Lu Yuan's 4th soul skill and Lu Erlong's 5th soul skill were still in a stalemate. Furthermore, the Hall Master seemed to be in an advantageous position, and Lu Erlong's Dragon Flame Vortex seemed to be unable to hold on any longer. Roar! Lu Yuan let out a loud dragon's roar into the sky. The sound waves from the golden dragon roar tore through the defenses of the Dragon Flame Vortex, and the remaining sound waves surged toward Lu Erlong. 6th soul skill, Explosive Fiery Dragon. In the face of the remaining sound waves, Lu Erlong's expression remained unchanged, and her 6th black soul ring flashed with a dark light. Lu Erlong's figure flashed quickly, and scorching fiery energy gathered on her fist as it clashed with the remaining golden dragon roar. Bam! Flames flew everywhere, and Lu Erlong charged out of the sound waves. She wasn't completely unscathed even after forcefully resisting the golden dragon roar. Her face was slightly pale, and her breathing was erratic. Her chest was rising and falling rapidly, and there was a trace of blood at the corner of her lips. It was clear that she had sustained some injuries from the sound waves. Lu Erlong was very quick, and she was already beside Lu Yuan in an instant. Her fist was filled with abnormally solid dragon flame, and she punched it toward Lu Yuan's chest. Lu Yuan's eyes flashed, and he punched out with his left fist. Sky-raising peak. This was a soul bone skill from the sky-raising demonic ape's left palm bone. Bam! The two fists collided. The immense strength of the sky-raising peak forced Lu Erlong back, but Lu Yuan was also forced back a few steps. There were traces of blood on his fist, and there were traces of scorch marks on his left sleeve. An explosive energy attack. Looking at the traces of blood flowing out of his left hand, Lu Yuan's eyes narrowed slightly. He did not expect that Lu Erlong's punch would actually compress the flames to the extreme and then suddenly erupt. He was caught off guard and was injured for a moment. If it wasn't for the heavens supporting palm bone in his left hand would have been seriously injured by this burst of energy. He had underestimated his opponent. He had actually forgotten that although he was immune to fire attacks, if the flames were condensed to the extreme, they would burst out with a powerful energy attack, and he would not be immune to it. He didn't expect Lu Erlong to be able to think of this in such a short time. Sure enough, these older generation experts had rich combat experience. Their ability to adapt when facing an enemy wasn't something that the younger generation could compare with. It was better for him to fight seriously. As the esoteric character circulated, the injury on Lu Yuan's left hand healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. With regards to the esoteric character, even if Lu Yuan did not have a deep understanding of it, injuries like this could still be quickly healed. Interesting. Lu Yuan stabbed his golden dragon spear in the ground beside him before clenching his fists tightly as he charged toward Lu Erlong again. Seeing as Lu Erlong wanted to engage in a brawl like this, he couldn't afford to fall behind. Mountain-splitting, sea-overturning technique. Lu Yuan punched out with his fist, which was mixed with vigorous energy. At the same time, Lu Yuan activated his first and second soul skills at the same time, and his aura suddenly rose. Bang! Their fists collided once again, and the sound of an energy explosion could be heard. Lu Yuan's hand was filled with golden light, and his body moved quickly. He grabbed Lu Erlong's fist, which she hadn't retracted in time, and pulled forcefully. This pull carried more than 70,000 kilograms of force, and Lu Erlong couldn't withstand it at all. Her body was pulled in front of Lu Yuan. Hui Yuhao punched Lu Erlong's stomach with his left fist, and Lu Erlong was sent flying. She spat out a mouthful of blood in midair. In this fight, Lu Yuan didn't show mercy to Lu Erlong because she was a woman. This was because Lu Erlong's attacks were too explosive. She lived up to her reputation as the killing horn of the Golden Iron Triangle. If Lu Yuan showed mercy, he would have been the one injured if he wasn't careful. Lu Yuan patted the black fist mark on his chest, which was left behind by Lu Erlong. He had to take a few punches in a head-on clash. However, his physical body was as strong as a soul Douluo's, so he wasn't injured. It was just that Lu Erlong had been punched in the stomach by Lu Yuan, and her injuries were probably not light. After all, she had spat out blood. Lu Yuan didn't chase after Lu Erlong as she was injured and retreating. Lu Erlong had basically used all her skills, but she wasn't his match. If she wanted to win, there was only one way, and that was to use her seventh soul skill, Martial Soul True Body. At this stage, Lu Erlong should be using it. The real fight was about to begin. Roar! An earth-shattering dragon roar resounded, and balls of flames burned fiercely in the air. Lu Erlong's figure had already disappeared from where she landed, and a flaming dragon with a pair of wings on its back appeared before Lu Yuan's eyes. Lu Erlong's fire dragon true body was more than 10 meters long. It circled in the air and let out dragon roars. Suddenly, the fire dragon turned around, and its ferocious dragon head pounced towards Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan's eyes narrowed as he sensed the immense pressure from the fire dragon. His eyes flickered with excitement. The real fight was about to begin. Golden dragon armor, attach. Golden light flashed, and the golden armor with icy blue and fire-red cloud patterns enveloped Lu Yuan's entire body. Suddenly, Lu Yuan's aura became stronger. Golden Dragon Bloodline, activate. As he donned the Golden Dragon armor, Lu Yuan also activated his Golden Dragon Bloodline, which he had never used before. With the support of his Golden Dragon Bloodline, Lu Yuan's Golden Dragon aura became stronger and stronger. Golden Dragon Spear, come. Lu Yuan stretched out his hand, and the Golden Dragon Spear appeared in his hand. When Lu Erlong was in her human form, he could fight her head-on. However, she was in her martial soul true body state now, and the Golden Dragon Spear was still needed. I want to see if I could defeat a Soul Sage without using my Polychoria. Lu Yuan's Polychoria flashed with a dazzling radiance. His Polychoria and Godslayer Spear were his greatest trump cards. With them, defeating a Soul Sage would be a piece of cake. However, what if he didn't use them? Could he still defeat a Soul Sage? Lu Yuan wanted to see if he could defeat a Soul Sage with his current abilities. After all, he couldn't always rely on his Polychoria. He had to become stronger. Let's fight. The two pairs of golden dragon wings on his back flapped. Lu Yuan's figure flashed, and he flew into the air. To be honest, he didn't fight much in the air. Spear technique, falling star. Lu Yuan stabbed down with his spear. The tip of the golden dragon spear flashed with silver light. After the second style of his self-created spear technique, Jihan Hai, he would use falling star. When he stabbed out with his spear, it was as if there were stars flashing in the sky. Silver light sprinkled down, and Lu Yuan's figure rapidly charged towards the spiraling fire dragon. Chapter 365. Meteors were meteors, and it was said that every meteor that fell from the sky represented the loss of a life. Meteors streaked across the sky, and even though they only lasted for a brief moment, they were extremely dazzling and radiant. Spear technique. Meteor was as swift as a meteor, but it was extremely powerful. This spear technique contained Lu Yuan's soul power, blood essence power, spiritual power, and spear intent, which was growing stronger and stronger. It represented the highest standard that Lu Yuan had reached in the way of the spear. Meteor's power naturally far exceeded that of vast ocean. If spear technique, vast ocean was Lu Yuan's summary and understanding of the vast ocean spear technique, then spear technique. Meteor was a product of Lu Yuan's advancement in the way of the spear. This was the first spear technique that Lu Yuan had truly broken free from the influence of his original spear technique, and he had created it on his own. Faced with Lu Yuan's strike, which was as dazzling as a star, Lu Erlong's fire dragon roared as it extended its huge dragon claws. Boom! Flames surged and exploded, and Lu Yuan was sent flying for more than 10 meters before he managed to stabilize himself with the help of his dragon wings. There was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth, and there was a grave look in Lu Yuan's eyes. What a powerful martial soul, true body. Lu Yuan couldn't help but mutter to himself. It was no wonder that martial soul true bodies were considered the most important skill of a soul master. A soul master's abilities would be greatly enhanced in all aspects when they were in martial soul true bodies. Right now, Lu Erlong was at least 3 times stronger than when she was in her human form. Even Meteor, which he was so proud of, didn't have much of an effect on her. There was a wound on the fire dragon's body that was left behind by the golden dragon spear. However, the wound wasn't very serious, and it didn't affect Lu Erlong's fighting strength much. Meteor did injure Lu Erlong in her martial soul true body state, but it was only an injury. Furthermore, he was also injured by Lu Erlong's counterattack. Lu Erlong's martial soul true body was actually able to injure him, whose physique was comparable to a soul Douluo's. Her martial soul true body's offensive strength was truly formidable. After being wounded by the golden dragon spear, Lu Erlong threw her head back and roared into the sky. Her body swayed as she lashed her massive dragon tail toward Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan flapped his wings and dodged the attack. He channeled his soul power and bloodline to attack Lu Erlong. This time, Lu Yuan no longer suppressed his strength. He released the strength of 90,000 kilograms without reservation. Moreover, the aura of his bloodline was also emitted without restraint. In the sky, a small golden figure was colliding violently with a fire dragon that was more than 10 meters long. My lord is getting stronger and stronger. Even without using his polychoria, he can still clash so intensely with a Class 78 Soul Sage who has activated his martial soul true body. It seems like they are evenly matched. My lord is improving very quickly. Long Xiaoyao sighed as he watched the battle in the sky. Even though Lu Erlong's martial soul is suppressed by my lord's martial soul and bloodline, and she can't unleash her full strength, my lord's fighting strength is very strong. That's an undeniable fact. Yes, Zhu Zhuqing nodded as she watched Lu Yuan fighting in the sky. Her eyes were filled with extraordinary splendor. This was her man, a true prodigy. Even though he was young, his abilities weren't inferior to some of the older generation of soul masters. When Lu Yuan had just left Shrek Academy, he had to rely on his polychoria to defeat Zhao Wuji. However, even without his polychoria, he could still fight Zhao Wuji one-on-one. The battle with Lu Erlong in the sky was the best proof. Even though Lu Erlong's martial soul was suppressed, her offensive strength was much stronger than Zhao Wuji's. After all, a martial soul from the Dragon Clan was still a martial soul from the Dragon Clan. Even though it was a fire dragon, it was still stronger than Zhao Wuji's Vajra Bear. It had to be said that a martial soul from the Dragon Clan was very strong. Douluo watched the battle in the sky with a deep look in his eyes. Lu Yuan's strength had exceeded his expectations. Even with his experience as a titled Douluo, he had never seen such a genius before. Not only was his cultivation talent shocking, he had reached rank 46 at the age of 12. His combination of soul rings was also extraordinary. He was only a soul ancestor, but he already had 2,000-year soul rings. It was shocking. What astonished Douluo the most was that Lu Yuan was fighting a soul sage who had activated his martial soul true body. He wasn't at a disadvantage at all. This really astonished Douluo. Someone like Lu Yuan couldn't be described as a genius anymore. Perhaps even a monster wasn't worthy of him. It seems like I have to bring Yin Yan over as soon as possible. Douluo thought to himself, it'll be a pity if I miss out on such a young talent like the Hall Master. Compared to the Hall Master, Yu Qianheng isn't even fit to carry his shoes. If Yin Yan can be with the Hall Master, it'll be worth it even if she becomes his concubine. Furthermore, I have to get Yin Yan to withdraw from the Heavendo Imperial Academy as soon as possible so that she can join the Blue Tyrant Academy. Given how much the Hall Master values this academy, he'll definitely stay here often. As long as Yin Yan interacts with the Hall Master for a long time, I'm not afraid that the Hall Master won't be moved by her beauty. After all, females from the Jade-Scaled Snake bloodline are very enchanting. What's more, a dragon's nature is natural. The Palace Master's dragon bloodline is so thick and pure, so his needs in that area must be very great. The girl in front of me is still young, and it seems that the Palace Master hasn't touched her yet. As long as Yin Yan comes and takes the initiative to get close to the Palace Master, young people are full of vigor. As long as the rice is cooked, the matter will be settled. Douluo's mind was spinning. Zhu Zhuqing suddenly paused. She didn't know why, but her intuition told her that someone was thinking bad things about her. However, she didn't have any proof and didn't know who it was. If Zhu Zhuqing knew what Douluo was thinking just now, she might even have the thought of chopping Douluo into pieces. In the sky, Lu Yuan and Lu Erlong clashed again. Lu Yuan was pushed back several meters. He flapped his dragon wings and stabilized himself. At the same time, he released a powerful attack. Dusk Gold Dreadclaw. 5 razor-sharp claws suddenly extended from Lu Yuan's right hand. The claws flickered with icy blue and fiery red colors. He waved the claws in the air, and a 3-meter-long energy claw swiped at Lu Erlong. Whoosh! The Dusk Gold Dreadclaw collided with Lu Erlong's fire dragon form. Sparks flew in all directions, and scales exploded. 5 conspicuous claw marks were left on the fire dragon's body. Blood flowed out, and the fire dragon let out a mournful roar. Unsettled storm. The golden dragon's spear swept a circle through the air, and a golden halo enshrouded the fire dragon's body. The fire dragon's body immediately stiffened, and it was completely immobilized as it plummeted from the sky. Chapter 366. In mid-air, the fire dragon was restrained by the golden halo. Its body stiffened, and it fell straight to the ground. The golden halo tightened, and the huge fire dragon turned into red light spots that filled the sky. They slowly dissipated, and Lu Erlong's body gradually appeared. Lu Yuan was shocked to see Lu Erlong withdraw from her martial soul true body. He hurriedly flapped his wings and rushed over to where Lu Erlong had fallen. If her martial soul true body was still around, it would be fine. Even if she fell from mid-air, it would only be a minor injury. However, Lu Yuan didn't expect his dark golden terror claw and unpredictable storm to make Lu Erlong withdraw from her martial soul true body state. If Lu Erlong fell like this, she would definitely be severely injured. Lu Yuan didn't want to see that happen. After all, he actually admired Lu Erlong. He didn't hold back during the battle, which was a form of respect for her. However, if she was seriously injured, Lu Yuan would inevitably feel bad. Of course, it might have something to do with the fact that Lu Erlong was a woman. If it were Zhao Wuji, it would be a different story. It was fine as long as she didn't die from a fall. After all, it wasn't good for a man to bully a woman. However, if it was a man who was being bullied, it wouldn't be a problem. In any case, every time he fought with Zhao Wuji in the past, both of them would be beaten black and blue. This was already a normal situation. Lu Yuan's figure flew over and caught Lu Erlong as her body was falling rapidly. Then, he slowly landed on the ground. Lu Erlong's injuries were a little serious. Her pretty face was pale, and blood was flowing from the corner of her mouth. In particular, there was a deep claw mark on her body. Blood seeped out and dyed her green robe red. At this moment, she was being caught by Lu Yuan. She didn't move at all. If it weren't for the fact that her beautiful eyes were still open, Lu Yuan would have thought that she was about to faint. You've won. Lu Erlong's eyes were filled with complicated emotions. Her red lips moved slightly as she spoke. Sorry, I didn't control my strength. Looking at Lu Erlong's injuries, Lu Yuan was a little embarrassed. After all, although it was a battle, it was indeed a little unreasonable for him to injure her to this extent. No matter what, Lu Erlong was still a woman. It's not your fault. My attacks were too violent. You were merely retaliating, Lu Erlong said softly. She was known as the Slaughterhorn. Her attacks were berserk, just like her temper, exploding at the slightest provocation. And this time, her opponent was Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan only had one way of fighting, and that was recklessness. The two of them crashed into each other. The battle was indeed earth-shattering and exceptionally intense. This was especially so after Lu Erlong released her martial soul true body. Her battle prowess had skyrocketed. If Lu Yuan didn't go all out, he would be the one to lose. And once he unleashed his full strength, it was very difficult to stop in time. Lu Erlong also understood, so she didn't blame Lu Yuan. On the contrary, she admired this young man very much. This young man was really strong. You're amazing. This is the first time I've seen such an outstanding young man like you. You should be at most 15 or 16 years old. After all, although you have a tall stature, your face is still a little immature. One look, and I can tell that you're still young. Lu Erlong said softly. I'm actually only 12 years old. However, I'll be 13 in 2 months. Lu Yuan paused as he met Lu Erlong's gaze. What? After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Lu Erlong's eyes widened. He's already ranked 47 at 12 years old, and his fighting prowess is so strong that he can even defeat me. Is he still human? Could it be a monster? Lu Yuan couldn't help but laugh bitterly as he saw Lu Erlong's expression. Lu Yuan, are the two of you all right? Zhu Zhuqing immediately rushed over after seeing that the battle had ended. Long Xiaoyao and Douluo followed behind her. I'm all right. They're just some superficial injuries. Dean Lu Erlong's injuries are more serious. Lu Yuan said. Ah, how did Dean Erlong suffer such serious injuries? Lu Yuan, couldn't you have been gentler when you attacked? Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but grumble softly as she saw the obvious claw marks on Lu Erlong's body. Even her robes were torn, and fresh blood was seeping out. Don't blame him. It's unavoidable to get injured during a battle. It's normal that he didn't stop. Before Lu Yuan could reply, Lu Erlong's weak voice sounded. All right, Dean Lu Erlong. Let's talk later. Let's go to your wooden hut to treat your injuries first. Lu Yuan said. All right, Lu Yuan. Let's go treat Dean Lu's injuries then. Zhu Zhuqing said. Ever since she heard Lu Yuan's story about Lu Erlong, Zhu Zhuqing's heart was filled with admiration for this infatuated Lu Erlong, a woman who dared to love and hate. She also had a good impression of her. They passed through the messy forest and arrived at Lu Erlong's wooden hut. They placed Lu Erlong on her wooden bed. Zhuqing, I'll have to trouble you to clean Dean Erlong's injuries. After that, apply some medicine on her and feed her a roll of longji leaves. I'll go and refine a batch of rejuvenation pills to help Dean Erlong recover faster. All right, go ahead, Zhu Zhuqing said. Lu Yuan nodded and walked out of the wooden hut. Long Xiaoyao and Douluo followed behind him. Lu Erlong's injuries were in her previous life. Men and women shouldn't touch each other. They naturally couldn't be present when she was being treated. Lu Yuan came to the side of the wooden hut and took out his cauldron. He started to refine pills. The rejuvenation pill wasn't difficult. It was a low-tier healing pill. It was about as difficult as the soul-returning pill. With Lu Yuan's current standards, the success rate was still very high. Lu Yuan ignited a flame and started to refine the pill. Time passed slowly. The refinement of the rejuvenation pill was coming to an end. Lu Yuan reduced the flame and started to refine the pill. As long as the pill's medicinal properties were stabilized at the last step, the refinement of the pill would be a success. How is it? Are you done? Zhu Zhuqing's voice suddenly rang out while Lu Yuan was refining the pill. However, Lu Yuan appeared very calm. He wasn't surprised at all. This was because he had already sensed Zhu Zhuqing's approach. Almost done. How's Dean Erlong's injuries? Lu Yuan asked. She's all right. After applying the medicine, she ate a roll of longji leaves. She looks much better now, Zhu Zhuqing said. That's good. Lu Yuan nodded. Let me ask you a question, Lu Yuan. Zhu Zhuqing's cold voice rang out. Ask away. Lu Yuan stared at the cauldron and said casually. Does it feel good to hug Dean Erlong? Zhu Zhuqing looked straight at Lu Yuan. After all, Lu Yuan was the one who had been hugging Lu Erlong when he sent her back. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to walk with her injuries. Lu Yuan was speechless. Chapter 367. Why are you asking this? Hearing Zhu Zhuqing's words, Lu Yuan's hand paused for a moment before returning to normal. He continued to control the fire in an orderly manner. Nothing, I just wanted to ask. After all, Principal Erlong has such a good figure. It must be very comfortable for you to hug her, Zhu Zhuqing said. You're being jealous again. Principal Erlong is already so old, and she's a bit violent. She's not my type. She's not old. Lu Yuan suddenly stopped. Seeing Lu Yuan stop halfway, Zhu Zhuqing hurriedly asked, She's not what? Nothing. I just mean that she's not my type. Moreover, hugging her is just like that. I don't feel anything. It's not as comfortable as hugging you. I feel very good hugging you, Lu Yuan said. Bah, only a ghost would believe you. You pervert, Zhu Zhuqing cursed, but there was a smile on her face. Okay, it's about time. Lu Yuan withdrew all the flames and patted the cauldron. Immediately, 5 streaks of light flew out and were caught by Lu Yuan. And not bad. All 5 of them are of high quality. They look pretty good. Looking at the 5 round elixirs, Lu Yuan had a smile on his face. His alchemy skills had improved a little. Let's go and deliver the pills to Principal Erlong. Oh, right, there are a few soul-returning pills here. Let Senior Dugu give them to that middle-aged teacher. I almost forgot about them in the fight just now. Lu Yuan said softly. Then he waved at Douluo and handed him the bottle containing the soul-returning pills, asking him to give it to the middle-aged teacher. Douluo took the pills. Although he did not understand why Lu Yuan was doing this, he still delivered them personally. Let's go and see Principal Erlong. Holding Zhu Zhuqing's hand, Lu Yuan walked towards Lu Erlong's wooden hut. Dean Erlong, how do you feel? After feeding Lu Erlong the rejuvenation pill, Lu Yuan asked softly. I'm much better now. Your pill is very effective. However, pills are very rare on the Douluo continent. The only pill I know of is the Soul Ascension pill. It's very precious. However, the recovery effect of your pill is very obvious. It's not much worse than the Soul Ascension pill, Lu Erlong said. Soul Ascending pill? Lu Yuan smiled faintly. The Soul Ascension pill was only useful to Soul Masters and Soul Grandmasters. It was a low-level pill. Moreover, the Soul Ascension pill could only be used once in a person's lifetime. If it wasn't polished, it would be a bit superficial. Overall, it was quite precious. However, compared to the Spirit Ascension pill he refined, it was far inferior. The Spirit Ascension pill didn't have a limit on the number of times it could be used. It was effective for both soul exalts and soul ancestors. A single Spirit Ascension pill could increase a soul exalt strength by 1 level. If a soul ancestor was close to a bottleneck, a single Spirit Ascension pill would be enough to break through. However, pills were pills after all. Eating too many of them was not good. Not only would it cause one's soul power to become superficial, but would also develop a resistance to the pill. Every time it was consumed, the effect would be worse the next time. Overall, a person could not eat more than 5 Spirit Ascension pills at most. It was best to limit it to around 3. At the same time, when used together with chi-tempering pills, it could allow one's soul power to quickly condense. It could be said that it was a good medicine for increasing one's strength. With them, Lu Yuan could quickly nurture a group of talents. Moreover, there were many powerful pills in the complete alchemy solution. It was just that Lu Yuan's current level of alchemy was too low. He could not refine them at all. When his alchemy reached a certain level, it would not be difficult for a titled Douluo to break through several ranks with a single pill. Of course, this was on the premise that his alchemy skills could reach a very high level. Otherwise, it would only be a fantasy. Seeing that Lu Yuan seemed to be in a daze, Lu Erlong's beautiful eyes blinked. She said indifferently, "Since you've won this battle, the Blue Tyrant Academy is yours. I won't say anything else. I only have one request. You have to treat the commoner students better. Don't bully them too much. Dean Erlong, don't worry. Just as I said, even if I take over the academy, the rule of recruiting commoner students will not change. Not only that, I will also appropriately reduce the number of students, increase all kinds of subsidies, and provide work-study opportunities to reduce the burden of the commoner students." Lu Yuan said with a serious expression. "I hope you can do as you say." Lu Erlong sighed. "You can wait a few days for now. Once I've recovered from my injuries, I'll personally announce this decision to the entire academy. When the time comes, I'll officially hand over all of the academy's affairs to you. There's no rush. Dean Erlong, you should focus on recuperating. There are still 4 rejuvenation pills in this jade bottle. Take one every day. I'm sure it'll be enough to heal your injuries. I'll take my leave for now. Just let me know when you've recovered from your injuries." Lu Yuan said with a smile. Since the dust had settled, the academy would be his sooner or later. As such, Lu Yuan was in no hurry. "Zhu Qing, stay here and take care of Dean Erlong. I'll have Senior Dugu stay behind to protect you. I still have some matters to attend to in Heaven-Do, Imperial City. In any case, I'll be back in a few days. You can stay with Dean Erlong during this time," Lu Yuan said to Zhu Zhuqing. "All right then." Zhu Zhuqing looked at Lu Yuan with a hint of doubt in her eyes, but she still nodded in the end. Since Lu Yuan had made such arrangements, then he definitely had his reasons. "Then it's settled. Dean Erlong, rest well. Zhu Qing, come with me for a moment." Lu Yuan smiled at Lu Erlong before taking Zhu Zhuqing's hand and leading her out of the wooden hut. Lu Yuan gently pulled Zhu Zhuqing into his embrace and asked in a soft voice, "Zhuqing, are you wondering why I left you behind?" Zhu Zhuqing rolled her eyes. "Do you even need to ask? If you left me here, wouldn't you have an easier time finding Chihiro Snow?" Lu Yuan was rendered speechless by Zhu Zhuqing's words. Since when had Zhu Zhuqing become so smart? However, he wouldn't admit it so easily. Moreover, he really did have matters to attend to. Lu Yuan rubbed Zhu Zhuqing's head and said, That's not the main reason. There are 2 main reasons. First, Dean Erlong is injured and needs to be taken care of. Moreover, I was the one who injured her. It's inconvenient for me as a man, so I can only let you take care of her. Who told you to be my kitten? We're one. Then what's the second reason?" Zhu Zhuqing was a little happy that Lu Yuan said the 2 of them were one. Her expression couldn't help but become a lot better. She asked Lu Yuan. She wanted to know what Lu Yuan's second reason was. Chapter 368. The second reason is Elder Douluo. We have to keep my identity a secret for now, and Cher's identity can't be exposed either. That's why we can't let Elder Douluo know about our relationship. However, he's been following us, and we can't find a suitable reason to leave him behind. We can use the fact that you're staying behind to take care of the Twin Dragon Academy's dean to get him to stay behind to protect you. This way, it's reasonable for Elder Douluo to stay behind. Lu Yuan smiled faintly as he spoke. You're really full of bad ideas. Zhu Zhuqing patted Lu Yuan's chest as she spoke. How can you call this a bad idea? This is called wisdom. This is called cleverness. Lu Yuan pinched Zhu Zhuqing's nose as he spoke. Narcissist, Zhu Zhuqing said coquettishly. Furthermore, you're right about one thing. I do have something important to do with Cher. Previously, I instructed the frenzied Rhino Douluo to ask Cher to prepare some rare metals for me. I'm going to make a few soul tools over the next few days. That's why I might leave them with Cher. If you follow me, I won't have time to take care of you. Lu Yuan spoke with a serious look on his face. Bah, so in the end, aren't you still going to find Chihiro Snow? Zhu Zhuqing rolled her eyes. This fellow might indeed have something important to do with Chihiro Snow. However, he was definitely capable of doing something important in the day and then taking the opportunity to stay behind at night. However, it's fine. This rascal has been with me for so long. It's time for him to spend a few days with Chihiro Snow. This rascal doesn't say it, but I don't know how much he misses me. It's good to let him go. Otherwise, if I force him to stay, he'll really think that I'm petty. Lu Yuan smiled bitterly. He really did miss Chihiro Snow. Moreover, he still had the immortal herbs he wanted to give her. With these two immortal herbs, Chihiro Snow would have no problem reaching level 60. A rough calculation showed that Chihiro Snow had been stuck at rank 59 for several months now. It seemed that even a genius like Chihiro Snow needed time to break through the bottleneck between Soul King and Soul Emperor. Seeing Lu Yuan's bitter smile, Zhu Zhuqing stretched out her jade-like hands and helped Lu Yuan tidy up his clothes. If you want to go, then go. After all, she's your first woman. You've been with me for a long time. It's not good for me to hog you all the time. Otherwise, Chihiro Snow might have a problem with me. You're always so sensible. Lu Yuan gently stroked Zhu Zhuqing's long hair. Zhu Zhuqing always knew when to advance and when to retreat. He really liked her more and more. Master, are we going directly to Matriarch Snow's place? Long Xiaoyao asked. Yes, let's go. I'm sure Cher has already prepared the rare metals. Lu Yuan said. Lu Yuan and Long Xiaoyao rushed from the Blue Tyrant Academy to the Crown Prince's residence. As the two of them hurried, they were naturally very fast. Although Heavendo City was huge, Lu Yuan and Long Xiaoyao arrived not far from the Crown Prince's residence in less than an hour. Elder Long, let's go in. Light flashed in Lu Yuan's hand, and a vast sea cosmic shroud instantly appeared. A dazzling blue light barrier enshrouded Lu Yuan, and his body instantly disappeared. Chihiro Snow was reviewing documents in the Crown Prince's residence. She occasionally twirled the pen in her hand. She blinked and asked softly, have the metals that rascal wants been prepared? The metals that young Master Yuan wants have been prepared. If young Master Yuan needs them, they can be sent over at any time. The snake spear Douluo said not far away. That's good. Is that rascal still with Douluo? I haven't received any concrete news for a few days. Chihiro Snow said. She looked at the frenzy Rhino Douluo beside the snake spear Douluo. I'm not too sure about that. When young Master Yuan asked me to pass a message to young Mistress, he told me to stay here. He said that he would come and find young Mistress in a few days. I reckon that young Master Yuan should have left Douluo's place by now. The frenzy Rhino Douluo said. Is that so? Qian Rinxue tapped her finger gently on the table, producing tapping sounds. After a brief moment, she lifted her head and said to the snake's spear, Uncle Shi, get the people from the Martial Soul Hall to take a look again. That rascal told me to prepare the metal, and that he'll come and find me in a few days. Now that the metal is ready, There's no news from him at all. Chihiro Snow's voice carried a hint of resentment. That rascal had been in Heaven City for so long, but he had only met her once. Furthermore, he had brought Zhu Zhuqing with him. The two of them hadn't even had a chance to be alone. That rascal only knew how to bring Zhu Zhuqing around all day, leaving her all alone. What a heartless rascal! Chihiro Snow cursed in her heart. Who said that there's no news? Aren't I here now? A faint laugh sounded from outside the door. The blue light dissipated, and the vast sea cosmic shroud spun in Lu Yuan's hand. He wore a faint smile on his face as he strode into the study. Young Master Yuan. After Lu Yuan entered, the titled Douluo hurriedly greeted him. Senior Snake Spear, Senior Thorny Puffer Fish, Senior Crazy Rhinoceros. Lu Yuan greeted the three titled Douluo one by one. However, his gaze was fixed on Chihiro Snow. What's wrong, Cher? We haven't seen each other for a few days, and you can't wait to hear about me. Do you miss me? Lu Yuan teased. Ahem, young mistress. You can have a good chat with young Master Yuan. The three of us will take our leave. The snake spear Douluo shuddered when he saw that this pair of lovey-dovey man and woman were back to being affectionate. The heavens took pity on him. He didn't want to be fed dog food again. He was already so old, and he still had to go through such torment. Sigh. Yes, young mistress, we will take our leave first. If you need anything, just call us. The frenzy Rhino Douluo hurriedly said. He had been by Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing's side for the past few days. He had already been fed dog food, and he didn't want to vomit anymore. Then the three of you can leave first. Chihiro Snow naturally understood what the three titled Douluo meant. She blushed a little as she waved her hand and said, Yes. The three titled Douluo nodded and hurriedly left the study. They even considerately closed the door behind them. Cher, you haven't answered me. Did you miss me? After the three of them left, Lu Yuan slowly walked to Chihiro Snow's side. He lifted his right hand and removed Chihiro Snow's disguise. Suddenly, the beautiful Chihiro Snow was back. Don't be narcissistic. Who would miss a rascal like you? Chihiro Snow tilted her head slightly and revealed a proud expression. Is that so? But I miss you very much, Cher. Lu Yuan smiled and grabbed Chihiro Snow. After that, he carried Chihiro Snow in his arms. Ah! Chihiro Snow couldn't help but exclaim when she was suddenly attacked by Lu Yuan. She hurriedly hugged Lu Yuan's neck and punched Lu Yuan's chest. Rascal, this is the study. Don't mess around. Chapter 369. Stinky Brat, this is the study room. Don't mess around. Looking at the heat in Lu Yuan's eyes, Chihiro Snow was shocked. She was very familiar with this stinky brat's gaze. Last time in the hotel in Soto City, when he ate her, he had the same gaze. It was hot and full of aggression. Oh, Cher, do you mean that I can mess around in the study room? Lu Yuan raised his eyebrows and said, Then let's go to your bedroom now. Lu Yuan carried Chihiro Snow and looked like he was about to walk out. Hey, stinky brat, wait. Seeing this, Chihiro Snow quickly said. Lu Yuan slowly stopped. What's wrong, Cher? Is there a problem? Lu Yuan asked in a low voice. It's still daytime now. It's not convenient. Let's wait. Wait for night. Chihiro Snow whispered with a blush on her face. In fact, after being intimate with Lu Yuan for so long, she also wanted to do it. But she was a girl after all, and her skin was thin, so she was embarrassed to say it. Then let's wait for night. Looking at Chihiro Snow's blushing expression, Lu Yuan couldn't help but smile. He didn't have that intention. After all, this was the study room, and it was still daytime. It wasn't the time to do that kind of thing. He just wanted to tease Chihiro Snow, but he didn't expect Cher to say such words. It seemed that Chihiro Snow missed that kind of thing after being separated from him for so long. Looking at the slightly mischievous smile on Lu Yuan's face, Chihiro Snow's mind flashed, and she instantly understood Lu Yuan's thoughts. She couldn't help but punch Lu Yuan in embarrassment. Stinky brat, you're playing with me again. This stinky brat obviously didn't have that kind of intention, but he still scared her and made her say such words uncontrollably. For a moment, Chihiro Snow was a little embarrassed. She actually took the initiative to say that night. It was really embarrassing. This stinky brat is really bad. She immediately looked at Lu Yuan with a pair of beautiful eyes. After being punched by Chihiro Snow, Lu Yuan wasn't angry. He just smiled and said, "Cher, don't forget what you said." Oomph. Chihiro Snow snorted proudly and slightly tilted her head to the side. "All right, don't be angry. I'm here with you." As Lu Yuan spoke, he sat down on a chair and placed Qian Rinxue on his lap. His left hand wrapped around Qian Rinxue's waist, allowing her to lean into his embrace. "What? Give it to me." After hearing Lu Yuan say that he had a gift for her, Chihiro Snow immediately stretched out her hand and placed it in front of Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan smiled and gently grabbed Chihiro Snow's hand with his right hand. He gently rubbed it and asked, "Cher, you've been stuck at rank 59 for a few months, right?" "Yes." Chihiro Snow nodded gently. Although she was an absolute genius with full soul power at rank 20, it still took some time for her to break through from rank 59 to rank 60, which was the bottleneck between Soul King and Soul Emperor. The gift I'm giving you can help you break through the bottleneck between Soul King and Soul Emperor, Lu Yuan said. Oh, Chihiro Snow was a little surprised. She blinked her beautiful eyes slightly and seemed to have thought of something. She said, "Is this the herb you got from Douluo? The frenzy Rhino Douluo told you?" Lu Yuan asked as he gently rubbed Chihiro Snow's snow-white skin. "Why are you still asking if you know?" Chihiro Snow didn't deny it. Instead, she admitted it openly. "Sigh, I knew that the frenzy Rhino Douluo wasn't reliable. He's clearly a spy that you planted beside me. He's helping you monitor what I'm doing at all times." Lu Yuan sighed softly and said, "What's wrong? Are you angry?" Chihiro Snow gently caressed Lu Yuan's face and said, "Rascal, I really don't have any intention of monitoring you. I just can't help but want to know what you're doing sometimes. After all, you're often not by my side. I can only find out a little about you through the frenzy Rhino Douluo. I'm not angry. I'm not that petty. I just don't like the feeling of being watched. Furthermore, the frenzy Rhino Douluo is your grandfather's subordinate. Cher, I'll be honest with you. Don't be angry. I actually don't like your grandfather very much. If not for you, I wouldn't even bother to look at him." Lu Yuan observed Chihiro Snow's expression as he spoke. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Chihiro Snow fell silent. The hand that was caressing Lu Yuan's face paused slightly. Her beautiful eyes were a little complicated as she looked at Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan lifted his right hand slightly and grabbed Chihiro Snow's hand again. He asked softly, "Cher, are you angry?" "I'm not angry." Under Lu Yuan's gaze, Chihiro Snow slowly shook her head. She straightened her body slightly and cupped Lu Yuan's face with her hands. She said, "Rascal, can you promise me something? Tell me. As long as I can do it, I'll promise you." Lu Yuan had a sincere expression on his face as he spoke. "I know that my grandfather might have done something wrong. However, he's still my grandfather. He raised me since I was young. He cared for me, cherished me, and cared for me. Stinking brat, if there's any unpleasantness between you and that old man, can you take a step back for my sake? After all, one of you is my only family member, and the other is my only lover. I really don't want to see the two of you meet on the battlefield one day. Rascal, can you promise me?" Chihiro Snow stared straight at Lu Yuan, her eyes filled with anticipation and a pleading expression on her face. Seeing Chihiro Snow's pleading expression, Lu Yuan smiled and said, "I promise you, Cher. I'll do my best to restrain myself. As long as your grandfather doesn't touch my bottom line, I'll take the initiative to take a step back no matter what the situation is." "Thank you, Rascal." Chihiro Snow's eyes were filled with gratitude as she forcefully threw herself into Lu Yuan's embrace. Her beautiful face was tightly pressed against Lu Yuan's cheek. Lu Yuan gently patted Chihiro Snow's back as the light in his dual pupils changed. He naturally wouldn't take the initiative to make things difficult for Sendoryu, but he was afraid that one day his relationship with Gu Yuna would be exposed, especially if Gu Yuna's identity as the Silver Dragon King was known by the gods. At that time, there might be conflict between him and Sendoryu. After all, how could the blood feud between gods and soul beasts be resolved so easily? At that time, there might be gods who would descend to the mortal realm to kill Gu Yuna. In order to protect Gu Yuna, Lu Yuan was destined to become enemies with the gods. The angel god, as a lord god, might also become enemies with Lu Yuan. As the angel god's messenger, Lu Yuan might also become enemies with Sendoryu. However, this was also one of the guesses. It was also possible that by the time Chihiro Snow became a god, Gu Yuna's identity wouldn't be known by the gods. At that time, Sendoryu would already be dead, and the so-called conflict wouldn't exist. Thus, agreeing to Chihiro Snow's compromise was actually not a big deal. Chapter 370. Lu Yuan wasn't afraid of any enemy, but he was afraid of Chihiro Snow being sandwiched between the two of them, which would make things difficult for him. Therefore, for Chihiro Snow, he was willing to make some sacrifices, such as calling Sendoryu Grandpa. Although he didn't like Sendoryu, of course, it was still fine for now. At most, there would only be some conflict between Sendoryu and BB Dawn, which was still within a controllable range. Therefore, he only needed to let Gu Yuna hide her identity and not expose it too early. His right hand gently brushed Chihiro Snow's golden hair and raised Chihiro Snow's beautiful face. Lu Yuan smiled and said, "Cher, look, these are the two immortal herbs for you." Lu Yuan slightly stretched out his hand, and the astral ring lit up, and the two herbs appeared in Lu Yuan's hand. One was snow-white in color, and it was a snow-white Lingji mushroom. On the surface of the Lingji mushroom, there was a snowflower imprint, and the entire Lingji mushroom was emitting a cold qi. However, the cold qi of this Lingji mushroom was very gentle, and it wasn't harsh. Instead, it gave off a pure and gentle feeling. The other was a pure golden herb, and there seemed to be a golden flame burning at the top of its leaves. The golden light sprinkled down, and a pure yang qi was emitted, giving people a warm feeling. As soon as these two immortal herbs appeared, the entire study room was instantly filled with a strange fragrance. Moreover, the snow-white Lingji and the pure golden herb seemed to have some kind of resonance between them. Their auras began to slowly intertwine together. Seeing the two herbs in Lu Yuan's hand, Chihiro Snow couldn't help but ask softly, "This is..." The snow-white Lingji mushroom is the serene snow Lingji, and the pure golden herb is the dazzling gold mysterious yang herb. These two herbs contain pure yin and yang energy respectively, and are the famous yin-yang immortal herbs. Just one of these two herbs is enough to help you break through the bottleneck. If you consume both of them together, the yin and yang will merge into one, and the medicinal effects will multiply. Who knows? Your martial soul might evolve under their effects. Lu Yuan smiled. These two immortal grasses were actually similar to the star anise mysterious ice grass and the blazing delicate apricot. However, the difference was that the star anise mysterious ice grass and the blazing delicate apricot were both ice fire immortal grasses. They could also be considered as poisonous grasses. When combined, the ice fire body refinement would greatly enhance the physique. As for the serene snow exquisite Ganoderma and the brilliant gold mysterious sungrass, they were immortal herbs that contained pure yin and pure yang energy. Not only were their energies extremely gentle, they were also easier to absorb. At the same time, the medicinal effects of the fusion of yin and yang were even greater than those of the previous two herbs. The most obvious was the ability to transform people. Lu Yuan wasn't lying when he said that Chihiro Snow's martial soul might evolve after consuming it. Really? Stinking brat. You're not lying to me, are you? Chihiro Snow's eyes were filled with shock. One had to know that her martial soul was the god-tier, six-winged angel. She was born with a full rank 20 soul power. These two immortal herbs actually had the ability to make it evolve? If someone else said this, Chihiro Snow definitely wouldn't believe it. However, since Lu Yuan said so, with his stinking brat's personality, he definitely wouldn't lie. This was why Chihiro Snow was so shocked. How could these two small herbs have such great abilities? Even if I were to lie to anyone, I wouldn't lie to my beloved Cher. Whether it's effective or not, won't you know once you try it? Lu Yuan smiled faintly. All right then. Chihiro Snow took the two immortal herbs from Lu Yuan's hands and carefully examined them, then prepared to absorb them. I'll protect you. Lu Yuan smiled and gently let go of Chihiro Snow before standing up. Lu Yuan, how do I eat this? Chihiro Snow asked. There's no special way to eat it. Just chew it directly. Lu Yuan said. Oh. Chihiro Snow picked up the two herbs. She didn't mind that they were dirty. She sat cross-legged on the floor of the study and slowly ate the two herbs according to Lu Yuan's method. After that, she closed her beautiful eyes and started to absorb the soul power of the two herbs. Seeing that Chihiro Snow had started to absorb the energy of the herbs, Lu Yuan sat down on Chihiro Snow's chair and pulled two pieces of white paper from the table. He picked up the pen on the table and gently sketched on the white paper. Since he wanted to invite the Seven Treasures glazed sect into his trap, it was necessary to make some soul tools in advance. Before making any soul tools, Lu Yuan had to design the soul tools and see what kind of soul tools he needed to make. Protective soul barrier. What level should I make of this thing? Make a class 5 one. If it's too high, I can't use it, and it's not easy to display it. Soul pistol. It can shoot soul rays. It's quite powerful. It's light and easy to carry. Make one class 4 and class 5. A flying type soul tool. A class 4 soul tool should be enough. A class 4 soul tool can fly very quickly. Furthermore, there aren't many soul masters who can fly on the Douluo continent apart from flying type soul masters. Even a soul sage like Zhao Wuji can't fly. A close combat soul tool. Make it a sword. It can store some of the power of ice and fire. When it's unleashed, it'll be quite powerful. A class 5 soul tool should be enough. A portable stationary soul cannon. This thing should be a class 6 one. When it's unleashed, it'll be very powerful. I'm not afraid that Ning Fengji won't be tempted. Although this thing consumes soul power, I only need to design a device to store soul power. After that, I'll equip it with a few milk bottles. Lu Yuan muttered to himself as he drew. Time was limited, and he only had a few days of free time. Therefore, he couldn't make many soul tools. A class 6 soul tool was slightly more complicated and required more time to make. Therefore, a portable stationary soul cannon was enough. As for the other class 4 and class 5 soul tools, it should be enough. However, he wanted to make it as broad as possible. He wanted to include defense, offense, flight, and recovery as much as possible. He was so well prepared that he wasn't afraid that Ning Fengji wouldn't be tempted. This thing was much better than Tang San's hidden weapons. The most powerful hidden weapon that Tang San could make right now was the Zhuge repeating crossbow. The power of this thing might not even be comparable to a soul pistol. As long as a soul ancestor activated a defensive soul skill, they would be able to block it. However, this might not be the case for a soul pistol. Its penetrative power was extremely strong. Furthermore, its rays had corrosive properties. If a soul ancestor wasn't especially adept at defense, they might not be able to block it. Furthermore, there were other soul tools. For example, a portable stationary soul cannon. When it was unleashed, even a soul emperor would be severely injured. It was definitely very powerful. After finishing the blueprint for the stationary soul cannon, Lu Yuan glanced at Chihiro Snow out of habit. Chihiro Snow was at a critical stage of absorbing energy. Her body flickered with a holy golden light. An indescribable, noble, and dignified aura was released from her body. Chapter 371. Originally, Chihiro Snow's six-winged angel martial soul was already very holy and majestic. But now, The holy power revealed by Chihiro Snow's body had already surpassed the scope of the six-winged angel. In that majestic golden light, Lu Yuan felt a kind of pressure that he hadn't felt for a long time, a kind of pressure that came from the level of martial souls. This kind of pressure could only be given by martial souls of the same level. When they were young, Chihiro Snow's six-winged angel was similar in quality to Lu Yuan's golden dragon. At that time, the six-winged angel gave Lu Yuan a lot of pressure, and ever since he obtained the clear air divine seed, his bloodline began to slowly transform and evolve. When he met Chihiro Snow again in Soto City, Chihiro Snow's six-winged angel couldn't give Lu Yuan any pressure at all. Instead, Lu Yuan's golden dragon martial soul faintly suppressed Chihiro Snow's six-winged angel martial soul. Because at that time, Lu Yuan's golden dragon martial soul had already slowly transformed and reached a new height. The quality of his martial soul had increased by a lot. It was no longer comparable to the six-winged angel. But now, from the golden light on Chihiro Snow's body, Lu Yuan felt a sense of threat from a martial soul of the same level. It was an aura that was comparable to the current golden dragon martial soul. It seemed that I was right. Cher's six-winged angel has already begun to transform with the help of the two yin-yang immortal grasses, the hidden snow exquisite Ganoderma, and the brilliant gold mysterious sungrass. Lu Yuan muttered to himself with a smile on his face. To him, the stronger Chihiro Snow became, the better. If his martial soul completed its evolution, Chihiro Snow's talent would rise to another level, and he would definitely be much stronger than in the original work. Cher's fifth soul ring seems to be around 25,000 years. If it hadn't evolved, the sixth soul ring would be at most 40,000 years, less than 50,000 years. After the evolution, the sixth soul ring should be more than 50,000 years. Lu Yuan thought to himself. After all, in the original novel, Chihiro Snow's soul rings were black, 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 red, red, and gold after he became a god. And after passing the final test, the soul rings of the inheritors would all increase by 50,000 years, just like Tang San in the original novel. According to this, Chihiro Snow's sixth soul ring in the original novel should be less than 50,000 years. After all, although the six-winged angel was a divine-ranked martial soul, it wasn't good at physique. It was more powerful in the power of holy light and flames, and it was good at energy attacks. Therefore, it was naturally incomparable to Lu Yuan, who possessed the golden dragon martial soul. Cher is destined to become stronger than in the original work. Lu Yuan smiled faintly. Since his arrival, among his women, Hulina and Zhu Zhuqing had been strengthened. Hulina's martial soul had changed from a demon fox to a nine-tailed celestial fox, and Zhu Zhuqing's martial soul had changed from a nether civet to a nine-lives lynx. Zhu Zhuqing, in particular, was now much stronger than in the original novel. In the original novel, she probably wasn't a soul elder at this time, but now, Zhu Zhuqing had already broken through rank 40. She only needed to polish her soul power a bit to obtain her fourth soul ring. In addition to the right leg bone of the 100,000-year blue-silver emperor that Lu Yuan had given her, it wouldn't be a dream for her to obtain a fourth soul ring in 10,000 years. Even Gu Yuna could recover from her injuries and strength 20,000 years earlier with the help of the Life Spirit Crystal and the Secret of One. Moreover, with the Secret of One, once she recovered to her peak strength, she would definitely be able to challenge and even defeat a God King. There was no doubt that the Secret of One was that powerful. It was just that it was difficult to comprehend it, and it would take some time to comprehend it to a higher level. On the other hand, even though Lu Yuan had helped Qian Rinxuez secure her position as the crown princess, he hadn't been able to help Qian Rinxuez's strength much. The soul bones in her body weren't suitable for her either. Therefore, Qian Rinxuez's strength hadn't improved significantly. However, now that she had the nether snow exquisite Ganoderma and the brilliant gold mysterious sungrass, Chihiro Snow's strength was about to soar. A martial soul stronger than the six-winged angel was about to appear. Golden light began to spread from Chihiro Snow's body, and a holy aura began to circulate. It continued to fill the entire study room, and even gradually spread out of the study room. Lu Yuan frowned when he saw this. Light flashed in his hand, and the vast sea cosmic shroud spun in his hand. A brilliant blue light enveloped both Lu Yuan and Chihiro Snow. With the vast sea cosmic shroud, he wasn't afraid that Chihiro Snow's holy aura would leak out of the study room and cause any disturbances. After all, Chihiro Snow's identity still had to be concealed. He couldn't let go of even the slightest disturbance. Otherwise, all his previous efforts would be wasted. Lu Yuan's eyes narrowed. He could clearly sense that Chihiro Snow's aura was rising continuously. Apart from the aura released by the evolution of her martial soul, her soul power was also continuously improving. It had already broken through the bottleneck of rank 60 and was still accumulating power. Although she couldn't advance in rank without a soul ring, her soul power could still be accumulated. This was especially so when a nether snow exquisite Ganoderma and the brilliant gold mysterious sungrass were fused together. The medicinal effects of these two herbs even exceeded that of the yearning heartbroken grass. Chihiro Snow's soul power couldn't stop at just increasing by 1 rank. Lu Yuan estimated that Chihiro Snow would be at least rank 65 after she finished absorbing and obtained her 6th soul ring. This was the power of the fusion of yin and yang. Her aura was still rising, and it finally stopped at a certain peak. Chihiro Snow suddenly opened her eyes. There were balls of golden flames burning in her golden eyes, and a powerful and holy aura surged out like a tide toward Lu Yuan. Her aura is comparable to that of a high-level soul sage. Lu Yuan didn't move as he experienced the powerful holy aura. However, his eyes sparkled. Chihiro Snow's strength had caught up to his again. Unlike Lu Erlong, whose aura was suppressed by Lu Yuan, it would be difficult for Lu Yuan to defeat Chihiro Snow if she didn't use her polychoria. This was especially true for the angel domain. It was a little difficult to deal with it without using polychoria. Perhaps he could break it with the second move of the sea god's halberd, the 1,000-year space-time. However, Lu Yuan was still researching this move and wasn't very familiar with it. Deep and mysterious Sanskrit sounds could be heard. The angel martial soul slowly appeared behind Chihiro Snow and exuded a holy aura. However, what caught Lu Yuan's attention wasn't the holy aura. Instead, it was the 8 snow-white wings behind the beautiful angel. 8-winged angel. A look of understanding flashed across Lu Yuan's eyes. Indeed, Chihiro Snow's 6-winged angel martial soul had successfully evolved with the help of the yin-yang immortal grass. It had transformed into an 8-winged angel. After all, the number of wings an angel martial soul had represented its rank. The 6-winged angel was a god-ranked martial soul, while the 12-winged angel was a god-ranked martial soul. The 8-winged angel was slowly surpassing god-ranked martial souls. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.